It's break time. Where are the Cheetos, my dudes?
If you have this much to read, and you're only reading this much, then make yourself a super reading machine with the incredible speed reading hand video program. Learn the easy-to-master techniques that can get you reading 3 to 5 times faster with better concentration, comprehension, and recall. Thousands have already paid up to $500 to learn these exciting techniques in a classroom.
We still here, y'all?
Family can learn these proven time-saving methods at their own pace and for a fraction of the cost. Let expert speed reader and president of all states,
right, we still here?
teach you the simple exercises that
I think
can
we're
have
still
you read
here.
almost as fast as you can turn the pages. Imagine being able to zip through novels, textbooks, magazines, business reports, and anything else with complete understanding. And it's so easy that anyone can learn to do it. Video Times magazine says the average reader can greatly increase reading speed and comprehension with the skills taught in this tape. Paul Barkin writes, it really works. In just 3 days, I doubled my speed and improved my comprehension by 10%. And Neil Sanders writes, my rate went up approximately 10 times and my comprehension went up by 20%. The speed reading hand video program comes complete with a powerful study guide with over 30 remarkable simple ways to increase your learning potential. But that's not all. As an extra bonus for ordering now, you'll also receive absolutely free the audio tape Super Memory Power. Learn to memorize anything quickly and easily, including names and faces, vocabulary lists, foreign languages, speeches, and much, much more. And if you use your credit card to order right now, you'll also receive as an extra special bonus the audio tape Mastering Concentration, where you'll learn step by step how to focus your mind to achieve all your goals. All this for the incredible low price of only $39.95. That's right, only $39.95, and it comes with a complete no-risk money-back guarantee. If you're not 100% satisfied, just return the program within 30 days for a full refund. This special TV offer ends soon, so order now. Call toll-free 1-800-253-2300. That's 1-800-253-2300. Use your Visa or MasterCard. Call now, 1-800...
Hello. How's everyone doing? I'll tell you what, my controller's not doing so well. There we go. So if we're all still here and doing this shit, we're gonna do SVR 2011 now. Right after the intermission.
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Welcome back to tonight's Long Boy Club meeting, everybody. We are in the second part of this show here tonight. We need the mystery team to uncover who Toto Americano is ASAP. Well, if my sources are to be believed, he is set to be unmasked this month in January. We'll see if he keeps his promise, but I know that he said that on his first appearance that he will do it. Does Chuck E. T. have a blue sky? You know, I don't know. I don't actually know if he does. I kind of doubt it, but he might. He might have it. Oh boy, chat. Oh boy. We have an incredible Raw here to start us out here on the road to the Royal Rumble. Hold on. Let me get a controller that works. Give me a second here. No, I do not want to turn off the system. Turn off the controller. Thank you. Well, let me get a controller that works here, chat. Give me just a second here. Would you believe that 20 plus year old controllers don't work so good anymore? Because they don't. They do not. All right, cool. Now, chat. Someone who still has a Twitter, send that to please. That'd be so funny. I think he would think that's cool. Oh, I will. Good. Thank you. Let me know what he says about that, because that's funny as hell. Anyways, chat. We are in the final 3 months of our universe mode in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, after which we will move on to WWE 12's universe mode. But before we kind of start, you know, the final stages of this universe mode, we need to get a lay of the land here, all right? So our champions are as follows, all right? On Raw, we have Batista once again holding the WWE Championship. Excuse me. Once again, Batista holds the WWE Championship after he won it back from Toto Americano. And that win comes with the stipulation that Toto Americano must unmask on his next TV appearance. Now, whenever that will be, we'll see, because as we know, he's not necessarily a fan of coming into work. But he has to at some point, right? So we'll see. The United States Champion is The Miz. The Miz snapped Chavo Guerrero's monolithic 6-month reign last time at TLC. Perhaps positioning Chavo Guerrero to move up in the world. Maybe to the WWE Championship. We'll see. We'll see what Chavo's road and The Miz's road looks like going forward. The Shamans of Truth are still the unified WWE Tag Team Champions. To our knowledge, the Raging Climax, which consists of the Sexayete, Ricky Steamboat, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, they're still together. But they're on shaky ground, to say the least. The Sexayete is now firmly in the heel role at this point. He has turned his back on the WWE fads. And that seems to be the big tag team story going on right now. The tag champs, who cares? I mean, I did give them matching gear, so you know, that's cool. Melina, still the Divas champion. Michelle McCool won the women's title back, I think, at TLC as well. And The Undertaker won the World Heavyweight Championship from Sheamus as well. So going into WrestleMania, he could be the champion. Intercontinental champion is Drew McIntyre as well. Now, before we went off the air last time, we made some pretty blockbuster trades. Specifically for CM Punk and Shawn Michaels, who has made his home on Friday nights now on SmackDown, as he looks to right the wrongs of the past and take the World Heavyweight Championship off of the Phenom, The Undertaker. We'll see if he could do it. But yeah, that's kind of the lay of the land that we have right now. Let's get into our first match here. You know what? I fuck with this main event, kinda. You know? I kind of mess with this main event. But I also kind of mess with Matt Hardy versus Mark Henry as well. Two ECW legends right here, you know? Plus, lately, I just really enjoyed the cut of Matt Hardy's jib, you know? If he could win the US title, that feeling when they question my heart, don't question my heart. Yeah, but yeah, going into this final few months, we have a lot of questions. Specifically, will Chavo Guerrero manage to climb the rankings? Will the Druid secure his place in history? And will MVP win a single goddamn match ever? I'm standing here, still standing here, don't question my heart. Yeah, that. I think durability. You know what? In order to get the Druid a fighting chance, I'm gonna give him some higher stats. Okay? I think speed should be low because he's on that like rigor mortis pack, you know? And under no circumstances should you question the fire that burns inside. Also, if you could give him any song, what would Druid's theme be? He definitely strikes me as someone that would come out to Undertale. But I don't know what Undertale music he would have, you know? Even through the darkest days. Yeah, brother. Yeah. Always, always, always. Either Undertale or fucking always, always. Oh my god. Preferably something that's not gonna get me DMCA'd, you know? Because even though I like always, always, I don't think that, I don't think playing that on stream is really the best idea. But dude, speaking of incredible ideas, John Cena versus Wade Barrett in the big 2010, that's crazy. You know what, chat? Actually, fuck Matt and Mark Henry. Drew make his WrestleMania entrance to a cover of Hopes and Dreams like he thinks he's Kenny Omega. Dude, absolutely! We need to do that! That would be so cool! That'd be so cool! Nikki Bella versus Maurice is gonna be Drizzly. Brady, how are you doing? Oh, dude! Whoops, you are spitting! You are spitting, dude! I need to fucking get Hopes and Dreams downloaded and to have him come out to that. That'd be sick as hell. Whoops, why do you always have the best idea? Druid just like me. I'm great. How is the giraffe? I'm good. We just got done with about like an hour and a half of Tomodachi Life wrestling style. Chuck Taylor is now in love with Doink the Clown. And Goldberg manifested like an ancient fossil through his dreams. So really, it was an incredible 90 minutes, frankly. But now we're at the main course of the night, which is SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 Universe Mode. On our way to the Royal Rumble. Chat, I kind of want to watch John Cena and Wade Barrett, if I'm being honest with you. I'm sorry, Chuck is what? You heard me. You heard me. Brady, out of these two matches, which one do you want to watch more? Do you want to watch Mark Henry versus Matt Hardy or John Cena versus Wade Barrett? We're not doing this because, yeah, that's going to be neither. Neither. Okay, well, how about the main event? Would you watch a tables match featuring Bautista, Triple H, and CM Punk? Chuck Taylor loves a good gimmick, quite literally. Chat, was it because I put Doink in a hot dog costume? It's probably the hot dog costume. I'm happy for them, LMFAO. Also, how can I not say to the ECW Classic that be Henry versus Hardy? You got it, brother.
Here's an idea for Mania. Druid faces The Undertaker and ends The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. Huh?
Someone already did that in our universe, brother. Somebody already did that. That would be the Control R. Oh my, no gimmick needed, Steve the Sam. On my no gimmick needed, Steve the Samurai. Shit. But we could have him go up against Biker Taker, and we could try to find a biker entrance for Biker Taker, because as it stands, Steve the Samurai, on my no gimmick needed Steve the Samurai shit. I feel like I need to do like research into Chuck Taylor's gimmicks and just fucking put him in there as like separate like island residents. This is how we do it. Who the fuck is how we do it? I'm a little bit unversed in this, I guess. Another Chuck Taylor gimmick idea. Oh, come on. Mark. Sexual. Why did you have to do that, sexual?
I think it's safe to say, King, that he's not.
All right, fine.
After that brutal
I'm doing
before the match started.
This. and that Hardy just no sells.
Oh! An elbow. Hardy has the headlock.
I thought that was a TEW character, by the way. Without the salmon jacket. No, don't worry. He was wearing the salmon jacket when he turned on MVP and absolutely just destroyed his career prospects. Because MVP started as our WWE champion, and ever since then, he's been a total fucking bum. Like he's just been losing match after match after match. I kind of like the faint red shine on Henry's singlet. I think with this color scheme, it's fine. But if it were any other color on, like, you know, the straps, it wouldn't be as good.
And that would hurt his hand.
All right, now the match is officially underway. Also, hi, Tom. Hello, Waffle. How you guys doing?
This could be big.
Now, please tell me I didn't just play as Matt Hardy. Okay, no, I'm good. I think a gold or emerald green will look good too. Well, the problem with Mark Henry's, you know, attire in this game is that the shine there, like, I didn't add that. That right there's just a visual glitch on Mark Henry's gear. I can't change the glow there. It's just like that.
Very well matched going into this one. All he can hope for at this point is that his opponent makes a mistake.
So, like, I feel like Mark Henry's gear would not look good with any other combo, you know? I know he's gone with silver and black, if I remember correctly. I did give him, like, the blue gear that he had in, like, in the 2000s, but it's just ruined by the red sheen, you know? You can't unsee it once you spot it, too. Genuinely. Okay, well, never mind. He's got the bear hug in.
And Henry just squeezed.
An ECW classic ended right as it began, chat.
Damage to the abdomen. And that's the match.
Oh yeah, he's going to TNA for sure, dude. He did call himself the Silverback too, LOL. Yeah, he did. I mean, like, when we play 12, I'm gonna give him some like, you know, new attire that will hopefully not be ruined by this sheen.
My goodness.
Yeah, that was bad news bears there for old Matthew Hardy right there. I don't know if I want to say that. John Cena beat Wade Barrett, and other news, water is wet. Dude. That's upsetting. Oh, wait, Wade Barrett? Wade Barrett is in the WWE title picture. Now that's the WWE CW I remember. I mean, that's really just like the length of matches in this game in general. You know, what you see is what you get there. All right, main event here. It is a tables triple threat between Triple H, Batista, and a new to Raw, CM Punk. Famously traded for Shawn Michaels, who is now on SmackDown. Wait, hold on. Wait, why is CM Punk coming out first?
Tables match. The only way to win this bout is to place your opponent through a table. Introducing first, from Chicago, Illinois, weighing 222 pounds, CM Punk.
Do you think we're chat? Do you think we're looking at the next WWE champion, or is that Chavo Guerrero? No. Usually when people enter out of order, it means that the game is gonna do some bullshit. So. Has Henry gone with gold and black? I'm pretty sure he's gone with gold and black. That feels like it would have been in the Hall of Pain days, right? I don't know, wait until 2011 for CM Punk. I mean, keep in mind, chat, the champions that we end with in this game, unless they are just not in the next one, they will continue to be the champions in the next one. So, like, if Chavo wins the WWE title in this, then he is going to be the WWE champion starting in 12.
He is the game Triple H.
We're moving to WWE 12 after TLC, if I remember right. No, we're gonna move to 12 after Mania. Because, like, I feel like at this point, we've had fun with this game, right? But I feel like we've seen everything it has to offer in terms of its universe mode. 12 is just indisputably better. Triple H getting the New Japan clapping entrance here. The water. His blood's made out of pure water. Chad, did you know if your blood made a bubble in your blood veins that it would cause cardiac arrest? I do. I try not to think about that, but now you have to. I'm sorry. Will we be doing the WWE 12 Road to WrestleMania mode prior to the Universe mode? We will, in fact, yes. I kind of feel like that we have to. It's the only one that we've not done. So. Plus, that's the one that's probably the most ambitious. So.
The first person to put one of their competitors through a table.
All right, Mario RPG music.
Good Lord, look at the fire in his eyes.
Holy shit, 3 Batista bombs! Prepped up, it's... Oh, okay. Holy prepped up Batista there. Wow.
And the pain has to be shooting through his face.
Okay, well that run-in didn't really do too much, huh?
That'll give you whiplash. There's a table. Oh, and he lands that one.
I think it's safe to say, King, that he's not at 100%.
Triple H politicking like it's 2004 over here.
He's heading out of the ring now.
Oh no, a table, I'm getting flash. Dude, if the Sexayete comes in here and breaks this again, I'm gonna have an aneurysm. There's absolutely no way this can happen again. Especially with it being a triple threat tables match, I would expect this one to be over, like, very fast. But, you know, this game is weird. It likes to be a little goofy. It likes to be a big old goofy goober sometimes, so who really knows what will happen? Chat. Who knows, really?
And his back now has to be screaming in pain.
Yeah, Triple H. Yeah, Triple H was told backstage that Batista was gonna run in on him, and then Triple H was like, "Yeah, sure, I'm fine with that as long as we can jabroni CM Punk, dude." That Phil Brooks, not on my time, It's not 2023 yet. I don't fuck with him for a long time,
Shining example of teamwork as they hit the double D.
I don't fuck with Phil at all for a long time. Look at this! This right here is an Evolution beatdown. Genuinely.
Devastating damage to the upper vertebrae.
Literally, it's an Evolution beatdown on CM Punk.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god, that right there's the story, I feel like. Dude, imagine CM Punk comes into Raw on his very first night. He ends up being Triple H and the WWE champion in a tables match. And that would raise his stock big, big style from the get-go. So
And another table has entered the match.
it's kind of funny that Punk doesn't do drugs yet drinks Pepsi, which has caffeine. I mean, that's a legal drug. So
At times, it's the most innovative superstar, the one that comes up with a unique way of dealing damage that's able to score the win.
From the ring to the floor.
plus, listen.
Stare on the animal.
If you're an adult and you don't drink caffeine at all, I'm very surprised.
This might be big.
That'll do some damage.
Like, for a long time, I wasn't a caffeine guy just because of what it did to my brain cap. Oh, fuck! Ow! Ah! Dude!
Punk's in trouble.
Triple H's neck is in two now!
Thousands of years ago, before the dawn of man as we knew him, there was Sir Santa,
a
of claws.
claws, an ape-like creature.
That's just not realistic. I mean,
Punk doesn't do drugs unless he can do so legally.
Punk countered it.
Do you think that he smoked fucking pot in like the states that it was legal in?
Huge shot for the temple. And there they go again. Sent crashing to the outside.
Especially if he was like at ECW. Are you telling me that for like the month or two that Rob Van Dam could stomach WWE CW, that he didn't join Rob Van Dam for a fucking doobie? Really? I find that hard to believe, you know?
The animal Batista.
Whoa! Whoa! CM Punk! Doing a bit of a whiff there, but still very impressive. Punk won't smoke, but he would do an edible for sure.
that'll cause some damage.
I feel like if he
An
had one
ape-like
after
creature
all
making
out, then
crude
it
and
would...
pointless toys out of dino bones and his own waste, hurling them at chimp-like creatures with crinkled hands regardless of how they behaved the previous year. These so-called toys were buried as witches and defecated upon, and hurled at predators when wakened by the searing grunts of children. It wasn't a holly jolly Christmas that year, for many were killed.
Well, that still doesn't explain the blood in the pool, dude. Oh man, I love smoking. I can't imagine never trying it a singular time. I am not as much of, I don't really smoke pot as much as I used to. Not after a really bad trip that I had. No! No! Okay. I'll tell you about the bad trip after this match, chat. God damn it. Hold on. Ow! Triple H is just getting mangled in this match, dude.
Aggression, intelligence, and not only does he have those things,
Triple H is just getting absolutely mangled in this matchup. Oh, pff, okay. But no, I had a pretty bad trip a couple years ago that really, like, just
there's been a lot of heavy
kind of turned me away from, like, weed and stuff.
Good teamwork there.
What I will say, to kind of give you a taste of it,
Batista with the arm.
to kind of give you a taste of what I'm talking about, if you are going to smoke pot or have an edible, always know what strand you're getting and how much you're getting of it. Okay? Brain doesn't work at the best times. Having brain alteration doesn't appeal to me. I mean, like, you don't have it when, like, you need to, like, lock in. You have it when you want to, like, chill out and zone out,
Squeezing down on the head.
How much pain must that neck be in now?
Like, you want to do it, like, when you want to, like, just zone out, like, eat a bunch and watch TV,
so unpredictable. I'm having a hard time figuring out what they're going to
Jeez. But no, I will say, Chad, if you are gonna smoke weed or do edibles, you need to know, like, what strain it is you're going to be smoking or eating, and how much of it you're going to be taking, right? Because, like,
back again. Watch it. What a shot.
has the headlock.
My bad trip came from like when I had like an edible that someone I knew gave to me, right? Someone I trusted, right? So like it wasn't just like a random person, but like it was someone that I trusted, and like I didn't know how much was in the edible. He didn't know either. So like I took way too much of the edible, and 30 minutes go by, I'm on the floor just looking at my cat, just like eyes pried open, right?
That hand had a lot of force behind it.
And I was like screaming, right? I was like screaming and holding my head because I just had a really bad fucking, you know, dose of it, you know? And I'm not gonna say like I started seeing things, because that's not what weed does to you. It was just way too much to handle at that particular moment, you know?
Brutal impact. And he lights up his chest with a shot.
I never smoked myself, but I've had an edible. Genuinely could not tell I was high until the day after. Never smoked pot and not going to try.
You're tuned into Monday Night Raw, live and in high definition.
I mean, I think it's worth trying at least once. But, like, you know, if it's not your thing, then, you know, it's not your thing, and that's fine. But in terms of, like, substances, there's far worse you could be having. Like, drinking and, you know, harder drugs are much, you know, worse for you on average. But, you know, if it's not really your thing, then it's not really your thing. Now I only, like, do weed and, you know, like, edibles socially. Dude, these guys are so stupid. Just put them through the table, you dingus! Bugs Bunny and ALF told me weed was bad. Well, Bugs Bunny doesn't know what he's talking about, dude. Fucking Bugs Bunny is funded by the war on drugs, okay? Fucking Bugs Bunny was funded by the war on drugs.
That'll rattle your organs. What a punch!
He is a man that is morally compromised.
You have to wonder sometimes.
Bugs Bunny just wanted more weed for himself. Yes, exactly. Like, you look at him, you're telling me that he's not doing at least a little bit, you know?
Go again. Sent crashing to the outside.
Why did Batista react like that to the chair? Dude, that like entered my brain and then it immediately left it because I was talking about weed. But yeah, why did he react like that? Like he just like crumbled. Bugs is the supplier. Yeah, he just wants like this kid named David or whatever his name was off his back. That'll rally your organs. The irony of that giant cartoon crossover against drugs being introduced by Bush Sr. Exactly. Like all of their morals have been compromised by the federal government, chat. You can't trust them.
Imagine a man with that much force.
They're getting paid. They're getting paid by the government to fucking get you off the back of their weed stash.
A good reversal by Punk.
Batista, collar and elbow tie-up.
Punk's in trouble.
I want them to, dude, just put someone through the table.
Squeezing down on the head.
Oh, ow!
Punk goes behind.
The irony of that giant cartoon crossover gets Trunks being introduced. I mean, that just gives the game away, you know? Like, these are not your favorite lovable cartoon icons talking to you. Garfield, Bugs Bunny, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Slimer, I think, TMNT. You can't trust them. They've been caught. Jack Swagger! What? Okay, chat. Oh no. What? Dude, what's Jack Swagger doing out here? That man was Oh no. Chat, I'm getting it through my earpiece. Toro Americano is Jack Swagger.
Batista has the headlock.
Jack Swagger has been re-signed all along.
might get the best of Batista on a
That makes him a former World Heavyweight and WWE Champion. This whole time he was Toto Americano. And now look at this. He's in here trying to lay waste to the Raw main event scene. And I don't really think he's doing a good job at that. Oh no. It's Batista! Wow. Chat, I'm just as shocked as you are. I'm just as shocked as you are. And now he's leaving happy with himself, knowing that TNA, they were too good for him. But WWE, they'll take him all day long. God damn it, chat.
Batista's been leveled.
That means not only is he a former WWE champion, but he's also a former World Heavyweight champion. And now we're stuck with him on Raw. I can't believe it, chat. We can't escape this man no matter how.
This was the long-awaited Endless Tables match sequel we've been waiting for. Thank you, Stev.
Now featuring Jack Swagger. God, just shove a pencil in my eye, chat. I'm done. Just shove a pencil in my eye, throw out the sheet. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm absolutely finished with this bullshit. Bad hair. Why? Oh, I can feel those on my bald head. Chad, I'm not gonna lie. I'm 5 minutes away. I'm 3 minutes away from skipping this match. I'm just so. I can't do it, chat. I'm so pissed off now. Legend has it, by the time this match ended, the Indy 500 reached its 200th anniversary.
No commercial interruptions.
Dude, no commercial interruptions for this? Jeez. Oh, wait, hold on. What's he doing? Woo! Elbow drop! Springboard elbow drop. The rare time I want ads to pass the time. Or for the match. I was about to say, do you want me to run some ads? I can run some commercials, chat. I can do that for like all day here. I can do that all day here, brother.
In a boot to the gut. Batista controlling the waist.
Are they chanting Triple H, let's go Punk?
Was delivered with tremendous aggression. An aggressive shot to the
They're at 115, so about 85 years to go. Chat will get there eventually. But no, I'm gonna give this like 2 more minutes and then I'm skipping it, chat.
He drops the elbow.
No one wants Batista to win, unfortunately. I mean, now that Jack Swagger's back, I don't think Batista sounds pretty preferable, if I'm being honest.
Under the rules of a
Punk, please. Please. Just thank you. Oh my god!
Looks like he's about to administer some.
Holy shit! Okay. Okay, he was about to, like, Pillmanize the leg there. EC-dub chance, brother.
Good God, what are they doing here?
Good God, what are they doing here? They're wasting my fucking time, dude. They're pissing me off, is what they're doing.
And he does it one more time.
Triple H, let's go Punk. If only they interfered this heavily with Swagger. This is Dragon. It is, dude. Okay, if CM Punk doesn't put somebody through a table here, I am skipping. Okay? Put him through the table, please. Put him through the...
That'll do some damage.
Okay. God damn it, dude. Ah! Fine. You know what? Dude, not only is Jack Swagger back, but now I gotta skip the main event like this. That'll do some damage, yeah, to my psyche. Batista wins. Batista and Triple H are now enemies, chat. One-on-one. Triple H versus Justin Gabriel. One-on tag handicap. Melina versus Alicia Fox and Maurice. And main event, a 6-man tag team match between Druid, Lex Luger, and the British Bulldog as they take on Bret Hart, Matt Hardy, and Rey Mysterio right here on Superstar. Chat, if the tag matches weren't so ass, I would want to watch this, but this is going to take 10,000 years, okay? So we're just going to watch, honestly, none of these, if I'm being honest with you. This is kind of a doggy doo-doo show.
My dudes.
Actually, no, I kind of want to watch Justin Gabriel.
You ready to wrestle?
You bet! Mom! Dad, it's really him! Hold on! Now I'm ready.
It said we'll watch Sting beat up a kid. Now that's Superstars, brother.
It looks so real.
Don't count on Sprite to do anything but quench your thirst.
Are you tired of cute TV? Well, grab a ringside seat and watch the celebrity matches you've grown to love. Now you can take home your favorite big-name brawls with Celebrity Deathmatch Rounds 1 and 2. Now available on home video. In Round 1, you'll get bonus behind-the-scenes footage. And Round 2 features the WWF's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hey! And don't forget everyone's favorite, Mills Lane.
Let's get it on! Pick up Celebrity Deathmatch Rounds 1 and 2. Now available on home video.
You said a mouthful there, Johnny.
Should we watch those in the server, chat?
Would you like to go
So we watch Celebrity Deathmatch in the server.
Isn't that a cute dress, Betty? Yeah. Last season.
Hi, Betty.
Cool.
WCW Mayhem. It starts in the ring.
I would love to watch Celebrity Deathmatch. Maybe we'll make it a priority. Rude!
On the plains of Africa, one would find the following: the herbivore or plant eater.
Ah, the herbivore giraffe.
Mankind.
Have a nice day.
He's never without his overstuffed beef ravioli and his call.
Beefy.
Unmistakable. Chef Boyardee overstuffed beef ravioli definitely feeds the need.
It's the perfect ravioli.
It feeds the need for my trash compactor, honestly, chat. All right. Yeah, like, I'm gonna be honest, chat. Superstars is basically Raw 2, it feels like. Because these are all Raw matches that we have to pick from here. But we'll go ahead and watch Justin Gabriel versus Triple H, because that just sounds insane. Like, why would they book this? Beef ravioli from an actual Italian restaurant is way better. Of course it is! Like, anything that Chef Boyardee has, if you get it from an actual restaurant, is going to be better 10 times out of 10. You know?
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Welcome back to shitty ass Superstars here this week. We've got Triple H taking on Justin Gabriel. I'm not mad anymore, chat. I've calmed down. My rage has subsided. I would know. I tried ravioli for the first time at an Italian restaurant, and I loved it. And then did you try it in Chef Boyardee, and were you disappointed? Because I had, chat, I tried, okay? I tried Chef Boyardee ravioli for the first time in like 15 years. Last month, I think. It was 400 calories, less than 400 calories, and I threw that shit out. It was just disgusting. I did not like it at all. It was like slimy. How do you make ravioli slimy, chat? I need to talk to the person that made that Chef Boyardee and ask them how they did it.
The game, Triple H.
Because it's impressive how shit it was. We walk alone in the unknown. I'll tell you what, Justin Gabriel has been Mr. Superstars this entire time. I gotta give it to him. He's been consistently on this show. Every once in a while, you'll see him on Raw too.
Yeah, he's gonna have to figure a way to.
Oh no! Wait, is he gonna squash Triple H here?
A huge move by Justin Gabriel. Justin's head.
Then who is Miss Superstars? Probably Alicia Fox. Nice. Is that it? No way. No way. No way. Pin him.
Tenacity. I'm not sure I've ever seen this young man quit. 2, 3.
Let's go! Wow. Triple H is losing a lot of ground here, chat. The man who was just in the Raw main event gets squashed by Justin Gabriel. Gabriel pins Triple H clean as a whistle. No interference. He was just at a hot start, dude. He wanted that win and he took it. He's getting a massive 2-week push. Dude, US champion Justin Gabriel. I'll take that. Dude, I am right there with you. That's sick as hell. All right, news. How about this? Justin Gabriel defeated Triple H in what was a Justin and Gabriel victory. Triple H and Justin Gabriel's relationship. Wait, hold on. What? Wait. They had an existing relationship? Justin Gabriel is high in the WWE Championship race. He muscled out Wade Barrett, and now he's in contention. Holy shit, dude! On top of the world until Vince gets bored of him. Wow! Huge win for Justin Gabriel there. All right, Melina wins at a 2-on-1 disadvantage. And in the main event, 6-man tag, Druid, Lex Luger, and Davey Boy taking on Bret Hart, Matt Hardy, and Rey Mysterio. Lex Luger wins it for his team. Incredible. A new alliance. Lex Luger and the British Bulldog are now allies. Chat, this is I'm sorry. This is an insane WWE title picture. You have Chavo Guerrero and Justin Gabriel up in the race, and Chavo is higher than Rey Mysterio, The Miz, and John Morrison. Some might even say they're allied powers. They are the United Empire, dude. Okay. Chat, I'm gonna be 100 with you. This card looks like Dookie. I don't want to watch any of this, if I'm being honest with you. The only one I kind of want to watch is this one, because you got some pretty good workers in here. But here, you have Ziggler versus Kingston. You have Layla versus Gail Kim versus Mickie James. You have Jericho and The Miz versus Zack and Mark Henry. Versus Mark Henry and Zack Henry. And then the main event, you got Sheamus versus Undertaker. They're really dragging their cards out on the way to Mania. They really are, dude. Fuck this show. Dolph Ziggler wins. Mickie James wins. Jizz taking on Zach Henry and Mark Henry. Jizz wins. Not even Superstars has a big enough budget now. Sheamus versus Undertaker would go hard if it was in 2011. We'll see if Undertaker, who just won the world title, can pull it out here. And he does! He defeats Sheamus here, showing why he won the world title at TLC. Alright, cool. Yeah, like, they're really, like, friggin' just, like, dragging their balls on the way to Mania here. Oh, and just as I say that, holy shit! #1 contenders match, Fatal 4-Way for the US title. And then in a ladder match, running it back from last week, but now it's a ladder match with CM Punk, Batista, and Triple H. Druid versus Jack Swagger! Yoshitatsu versus A-List Otunga! This whole card slaps, dude! What?! I kind of want to watch all of Raw this week, if I'm being honest with you, chat. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of want to watch all of Raw this week. Are we good with that? I kind of want to. I'll skip the rest of this week if we do it. Holy shit! This is an insane card. Okay. Well, hold on. I want to present it commercial free. So we're gonna run a 3-minute ad before we start.
It's break time. Where are the Cheetos, my dudes?
When you pour a bowl of Applejack cereal,
Showtime!
Cinnamon races to you. again. But there's a bad apple who's trying to get there first.
Stay out of my Applejack!
Here I go.
I did it! I did it! Did it! Did it!
I am Cinnamon.
I did. Applejacks doesn't taste like apples because the taste of sweet cinnamon.
Think of cinnamon. I'm gonna get Cinnamon Toast Crunch, chat.
A cinnamony part of this complete breakfast.
Yo, Applejacks, get it?
Need water? Capri Sun Roaring Waters with a roaring flavor of fruit. Get your water in a pouch.
Respect the pouch! Respect it!
Nude crush cups. Check it out. I crush the alien. Well, I crush the director. I crush the tiki. I crush a Danimals Crush Cup. Huh? Yeah, new Danimals Crush Cups. You crush it and slurp it. Mmm, cool. No spoon? Nope. Just crush and slurp for a blast of fruity flavor. Mmm, awesome. I crush you crushing a Danimals Crush Cup. New Danimals Crush Cups. Danimals, get your blast on.
The all-time #1 best-selling scooter in the world just got a whole lot hotter. Introducing the all-new Razor Spark Scooter. With its easy refillable spark cartridges, you can seriously light up your ride. Just step on the sparking bar and watch them fly. The all-new Spark Scooter leaves an awesome trail of sparks. The Razor Spark Scooter. Light up your ride.
Professional riders, ride within your limits.
Hey, Toucan Sam, how would you make milk more fun?
Why, with Fruit Loop cereal straws, of course.
Just dip them in and sip, sip, sip. And pull them out and munch, munch, munch. All together now, dip, sip, munch. Fruit Loop cereal straws, colorful fruit-flavored cereal with a creamy coating inside. So fun to dip, sip, munch.
This is a library, not a lunchroom.
Hey, a book about wrestling?
Gusher's fruit-flavored snacks. Gush a friend at bewarethegush.com.
I replace your snake with fruit by the foot.
Ah, the hunter has become the prey.
Fruit-flavored snacks.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Alright, welcome back to Raw, chat. it's time for what looks to be an incredible show here. We have, again, to run it down for you. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on just a second. To run it down for you, we have Yoshitatsu taking on Ayla's Otunga. Not David Otunga, because Davey Boy got that name back from him. Druid versus Jack Swagger. Chavo Guerrero versus Ricky Steamboat versus R-Truth versus John Morrison in a fatal four-way, which I'm going to try to put elimination rules on. And a ladder match between Batista, CM Punk, and Triple H. We gotta see Druid versus Swagger. We have to. We're watching the whole show, man. Watch this. I miss Yoshitatsu. I mean, I'm pretty sure Yoshitatsu's still around, right? Like, isn't he like a manager in Noah? I know that everyone's favorite residential Yoshitatsu superfan, Red Cold Ritsu, is not in chat right now. But if he was, then he'd probably be able to tell me that, hey, you're right. He is, in fact, in Pro Wrestling Noah.
From Tokyo, Japan.
God, they gave him, like, the Spider-Man 2 on PS2 shoulders. They are broad as fuck. That's awesome. I love when people get passionate over the people they love.
And his opponent from Hollywood, California, weighing 252 pounds, David A-List Otunga.
Very nice of Justin Roberts to give him his name back for one night. All right, cool. This right here is a YouTube audio library classic, chat. We are one, we are one, we are one. You don't have your faction. It died after like 2 weeks. It was actually very funny how unceremonious it was.
Live from the Mile High City, Denver, Colorado. Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler are welcoming you to Monday Night Raw. And we're already rolling with our first match.
You hear the BS Otunga said recently. What did he say? What did he suggest?
WWE Magazine out this month, and you'll find some interesting articles.
Because I know that he's kind of been leaving a footprint. This universe mode really did a number on the tags for no reason. WWE having AI matches with dead wrestlers. Is that a suggestion or something that he was just kind of talking about? Because if that is a suggestion, no. Don't do it. Just don't do it, brother.
In 18 languages, in over 100.
I would like for you to not do that, if that's okay. Okay, hold on. Let me go ahead and find some music here for us.
This young man is so quick.
There we go. Come on, Yoshi! Ow! Oh, chat, I'm eating my Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's Saturday morning slam. Except now it's like Saturday evening slam. Well, either way.
Yoshitatsu is still so young in his career, and because of that, every opportunity to stand out and succeed is so important. That was a heavy shot.
I mean, WWE is already using AI in their creative process. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, one of the things that the AI is, you know, noting is, hey, you should put Hulk Hogan in a segment. When Hulk Hogan, he was saying it was a hypothetical thing WWE could do. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the AI tools that they use have already tried to make them do that. Like saying, hey, you should bring Hulk Hogan back for a segment, not knowing that Hulk Hogan hasn't done anything terrible recently. No one knows why, but he hasn't done anything terrible recently.
Oh man, what impact from that suplex!
It's been a really long time since Hulk Hogan's been racist. About a year at this point. I hope he keeps it up. Nobody knows why, LOL.
Yoshitatsu wants to fly.
He's been on really good behavior lately. I hope he keeps it up.
An incredible dive as he hits the senton. Tatsu's heading back to the top.
All right, dude. Multiple sentons on A-list Otunga. Wow. And a third senton. Come on. Nice. Four sentons.
An incredible dive as he hits
Wow.
the senton.
Dude. That was an incredible sequence right there.
Hooking the leg.
Dude, you should have pinned him after those sentons. Not enough WWE sent wrestlers to the clown show at the White House. AI matches with dead wrestlers will be unforgivable. I mean, like, dude, I will say it. Dude, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Wrestling becomes a lot more fun when you just don't pay attention to what modern WWE is doing. You know? Like, I feel like a lot of people in this space, especially, they pay attention to it. You know, like, if they don't... I mean, like, if you enjoy it still, that's fine, I guess. But, like, I feel like a lot of them will also, you know, try to keep up with it because, well, you know, it's the biggest one around. Oh, hey. Yoshitatsu gets it. As he should after those 4 picture-perfect sentons, honestly. Problem being avoiding WWE as a wrestling fan is like avoiding Nintendo as a video game fan. I mean, a lot of people do avoid Nintendo, but it's a lot easier to because we have, you know, other avenues. You know, like we have PlayStation, we have like Xbox, we have take your pick of anything on PC, you know? Why use AI to have modern wrestlers fight dead wrestlers when you could just have someone like The Miz do parodies of wrestlers? I mean, dude, fucking, like, dude, just, like, put me in, like, sunglasses and tell me that, okay, you're Macho Man Randy Savage, go out there, what? Stone Cold! Oh, hell, yeah! They're feuding with Yoshitatsu now! Go bring back the great Charlie. The great Charlie. All right, Stev, you are now the great Kali. Go out there. But dude, I'm much taller than the great Kali. Exactly. You're the great Kali, but better. Not knowing that the great Kali is still alive. The great Khaki is out there, dude. All right. Now, chat, coming up here, it may as well be the main event, honestly. It is Druid versus Jack Swagger. Dude, I want to know what the fuck is going to come. The Sexy Yeti is moving up in the U.S. title hunt with Ricky Steamboat and R-Truth and Yoshitatsu. Dude, this... Okay, never mind. I thought the WWE title scene was messed up. Take a look at the US title scene. Chavo Guerrero is #1 contender. The Sexy Yeti is #4. Ricky Steamboat is #3. And Yoshitatsu is #8. Oh, and Jack Swagger is there too, because you know what? Because you know what? Fuck everything that's good about this world. We need to have Jack Swagger here. Well, with any luck, Druid is going to beat Jack Swagger here. After he went to the gym, he's feeling pretty good about himself, honestly. So we'll see if the Druid can pull something out here tonight. My hopes are not exactly high, but anything can happen here. Chat, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is good. But no, largely I just don't really pay attention to what WWE is doing. Just because, you know, putting my attention their way makes me feel icky. So I just don't do it, you know? On that note, Maple Leaf Pro is debuting on TV this week, and we're going to be watching it in the Discord server. Speaking of, I have a Discord server. Come on by. Come on by. We have a lot of fun over there. We talk about games and wrestling over there, and I host semi-regular watch-alongs of various shows that I'm interested in. For someone who's claimed to be a trillionaire, Elon Musk, yes, absolutely. You know, I could talk about, you know, that, you know, all night, but I don't really think anyone is here for that. But I do agree with you, Dan. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's safe.
Anyways, dude, this isn't fair. That was a complete blindsiding coming courtesy of Jack. Back to his old swagger ways. I know. What an asshole. I mean, the only reason that he was total American was so he could get a job back. He reversed it into the X Factor. Holy shit! He reversed the Swagger bomb into the X Factor.
And Swagger blocks it. Oh!
Jack Swagger has the arm.
He may be intent on breaking the arm. Oh, the elbow connects.
Hold on, I need music.
And that one hurt his hand.
Jack Swagger controlling the waist. The thing about Jack Swagger and his approach to sports entertainment.
Your Discord genuinely sounds like a place I like to be in. Count me in. We're happy to have you there, Brady. Thank you very much.
265 pounds. He's so young, you know he's going to get bigger.
Also, you can tell Cinema Z that I'm going to be nipping at their heels when we do VTuber SummerSlam here soon. Speaking of which, I'm going to be in VTuber SummerSlam. I'll talk about that here after this match. But first, it's Druid and Jack Swagger. Come on, Druid. Fucking show this guy up.
Swagger is so confident in his ability.
Long Boy Club SummerSlam win. Next week, starting next week, in fact, where we're going to be raising money for sick kids. Again, I'll talk to you guys more about that here in a little bit.
And Swagger blocks it. And he lights up his
Swag hole slam. Again, I don't really like Drew's chances. Can we raise money for giraffes? No, and if I'm being honest, raising money for sick kids is not really something I want to joke about too much. So let's just kind of stick on that, you know? This is serious. We're having fun here, but that bit is serious, okay? Oh, damn it. Hold on.
He knows his opponent is completely helpless to resist the submission hold.
And he fights his way out.
Give me just a second.
Hard kick to the rib. Dear Lord, those lariats can do so much damage. Oh. Man, this has been a great matchup. Swagger.
All right, cool. Hold on. What, Batista? No way. No way. No way. No way. Dude. Hold on.
His shoulders are down.
He's got him down for the pin. Turn around, ref.
God damn it. No, Batista's here to help him. No, Batista's here to help Druid. Druid, kick out, dude. Kick out. Please, don't make a fool out of the WWE champion, dude. No. Oh, no. 1, 2, 3. Yep. God damn it, dude. Please play the music that I put in for him, game. Please. Recognize that, whoops. What a familiar tune. Am I hearing the Death Riders theme? You are, dude. I added that into this game. I gave it to Jack Swagger. Because, listen, ever since the start of this run, basically, he has been a constant thorn in our side. He's been a constant just thorn in the side of, like, every baby face. That's actually crazy fitting. Holy crap. I know! It's great. I'm gonna let it play. Because Jack was a menace. Yes, exactly. Woos. And you know what? I'd imagine his winning ways are not gonna stop anytime soon. Because Druid is now dead. Because Druid is now dead. All right. And I fear that he may be only the first of many to fall at the feet of Swagger. All right, chat. Here we go. The tag team champions will face off in this fatal four-way match as well, which also features, hold on, count of 3 falls. Can it be elimination style? Yes. Thank you. Okay, cool. The Druid has been embalmed. Did MLP mention who's on their debut card? Yes. It's spanned across 2 nights. The first night's already been taken. It's an elimination fatal 4-way, so hopefully it won't take too long.
Weighing 215 pounds,
So on Maple Leaf's debut, I know that you have at least the following matches. You have Stu Grayson versus Jonathan Gresham for the Maple Leaf Canadian World Championship. You have Johnny TV, otherwise known as John Morrison, taking on TJP. You have Psycho Mike, who is honestly incredibly fun, taking on Jay Lethal. I think you have like Evil Uno fighting for a championship as well. And a few other matches too. Those matches have been, rather, those matches are being taped and then they will be shown like later in the week, next week. Rather, this coming week, I should say.
From Charlotte, North Carolina, weighing 235 pounds.
Ah, no, I forgot to put friggin' John Morrison in the Misawa gear. Oh well. Ricky Steamboat.
From Hawaii, weighing 237 pounds, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
So here's my question, chat. Is Stone Cold Steve Austin a face or a heel now? Because based on what we saw earlier, if I were Ricky Steamboat, I would not trust him at all.
Weighing 219 pounds, John Morrison.
This is honestly a good sight here. Stone Cold is both a face and a heel. I mean, like, he's actively favoring the guy that is breaking up this team, you know? I feel like that's pretty, like, heelish, you know? I feel like that's pretty heelish, all things considered. So yeah, in this match, the Shamans of Truth implode as John Morrison takes on R-Truth, Ricky Steamboat, and Chavo Guerrero for a shot at the U.S. title. Ow! It's Matt Brosk. Hello, Matt. How are you doing? I didn't know PCO was in MLP. He is! PCO is, in fact, in MLP. He left after he destroyed the digital championship in TNA. You know, if TNA is good at one thing right now, besides, you know, being a laughing stock, it's really good at just making sure that people who are loyal to it are just never loyal to it again. You know? Which, to be fair, that's always been kind of an issue for them. But especially, like, right now, when you got Steve Macklin telling Carlos Silva to sit down in his cuck chair. It's just not great, you know? It's just not a great thing. Amazing he's still going at his age, and at kind of the style that he's going too, yeah. I'm pretty sure PCO is on the inaugural episodes. I know that Chelsea Shaw is going to be defending her women's championship as well. Speaking of, Chelsea Shaw is incredible, chat, and you all should definitely support her. Especially for Pride Month. Yeah, he's not a small man either. No, he's not. No, he's not. Like, I remember when he was like... Man, I know that at one point he was Jacques Rougeau. Right? And that was like back in like the New Generation era. Oh, holy slow down. Holy slow down. Wow. Okay, cool.
Knocks his opponent down with a drop kick. He's taking out the trash.
All right, cool.
Now taking this match outside.
All right, let me go ahead and put music on.
As there are no countouts.
There we go. Thank you, Matt, for following. You are now a member of the Long Boy Club for life. I appreciate that very much. Much like how I'm going to appreciate Ricky Steamboat getting his shot at the U.S. title. But that's all going to depend here. Man, roommate's cooking up something. I don't know what it is, but he's cooking up something big here. Either that or he just microwaved something and I'm feeling, ow. I'm feeling the results of it. Nice.
John Morrison, very young.
But yeah, I put this on elimination rules, so hopefully that'll mean it goes quicker and it doesn't take 1,000 years. Because multi-man matches, they are a bleak prospect in this game. If you have a match with more than 3 people in it, and it's not a battle royal. So, all right.
That'll cause some damage.
Stone Cold is both a face and a heel. No, I feel like that because he's supporting the guy that's sabotaging, you know, Ricky Steamboat and the Sexayete's team. I feel like that makes him the heel, you know? Now, I wonder if Yuke's AI is going to be smart enough to I wonder if Yuke's AI is going to be smart enough to like not break up pins when it's like an elimination match. Oh man, the leg sweep! Wow. Okay. Hold on, Ricky Steamboat just needs to get the crossbody off, dude. That is not a crossbody. That is in fact a chop. That's an elbow drop. Get the crossbody off, dude. Okay, whatever. Okay, whatever, dude. You fucking do you. You do whatever makes you happy, man.
And the knuckles connect in a shot to the solar plexus. Oh, watch it. How much more extreme will
Oh, what? Wait, Morrison, what are you doing? Okay, Starship Pain. Wow. Okay, good. The AI's not dumb. Great. All right, R-Truth has been eliminated from this match.
And R-Truth is in deep trouble. And there he goes.
Dude, R-Truth is out of this match. He is fired. Get out of here. Get out of our company. Does the Gearverse have the Elimination Chamber? I don't know why we wouldn't, dude. I mean, the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view is in February, so, you know, we are going to be doing that. What the? Ah! Oh, hey! Okay.
So many wonderful memories over the years.
Cool little bits of offense there.
The Dragon won the Intercontinental Championship. Yeah, over 93,000 fans watched in amazement that night. Looks like we're watching in amazement right now.
No, I'm hoping that Ricky Steamboat gets it. Was it called Elimination Chamber or was it still No Way Out? It is. It's called Elimination Chamber in this game.
And he lights up his chest with a shot.
Yes, it is called Elimination Chamber in this in this game. It is no longer No Way Out. Alright, hold on. Chavo has his shit that he needs to get off here. Okay, 3 amigos! Oh no! Dos! Trace! 3 amigos from Chavo Guerrero. Alright, hold on. And he's probably gonna hit the gory bomb. Or maybe he won't. Maybe he won't do anything because Ricky Steamboat is just really tunnel visioned right now.
Elbow drop.
That to say, dude, if you're cruising for a freaking gory bomb right now, dude. All right. Cool. Now, can we get Morrison out of here so that way we don't have a tag champ going for the US title? I would like that a lot. All right, chat, you got to get your predictions in now. Are we or are we not going to have another fucking match at the Royal Rumble between the Shamans of Truth and the Raging Climax? My money is on yes, honestly. Even though this team should not be a thing anymore because the Sexayete betrayed Ricky Steamboat twice. He betrayed him. He needs to fucking get out of here.
Oh, wow. Just left a free fall down onto that security wall. Morrison controlling the waist. He's got it locked in. This could do it. Oh, ow!
Hold on.
What strength.
Man, they're chanting for Ricky here in the Denver, Colorado, in the Pepsi Center. In Denver, Colorado. I'm pretty sure that is the Denver Arena. I remember running that venue in TEW.
He's going back outside.
I remember running a venue that had that name in TEW. So.
What a fierce kick. Oh man, how much damage did that cause to the neck?
We still have a lot of match to go here. All right. Starship Pain from John Morrison. Don't you break it up, brother. That's it. After a monolithic title reign, Chavo will not be getting his rematch for the belt at the Royal Rumble, but we'll see who will get their crack at it. Either Ricky Steamboat or the tag champion, John Morrison. Chat, would this match have banged in real life? Because I feel like it would have. I feel like this match would have been cool as fuck in real life.
Can he score the pin?
1, 2, 3. Ricky Steamboat gets a shot at the U.S. Championship at the Royal Rumble against The Miz. A very fast end to the match, but he did it.
Here is your winner, Ricky the Dragon.
Yes. Dude, if it was like 2010 or 2011, Ricky, it still would have banged, honestly. That's my favorite Lucha Underground match between John Morrison and Ricky Steamboat. All right, well, that washed the taste of Jack Swagger becoming the freaking World Eater again right out of my mouth, chat. All right, let's see here. Drew to Jack Swagger's relationship has gotten even worse. Oh, has it now? God damn it, dude. Really? Jack Swagger is back in the title picture. Jack Unicron. He's the World Eater, dude. You can't get rid of him. You can't get rid of this guy no matter what. It's actually a little bit infuriating. It's actually a tiny bit infuriating. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, fine. You know what? I'm sure that whoever goes after him is gonna be able to knock him off his perch. For now, we got the main event of this absolutely stacked Raw here, as it's another triple threat between these three men, but this time in a ladder match. It's CM Punk versus Batista versus Triple H. Come on now. That PS3 disc is going into overdrive, chat. Any day now, it's going to come in. Any day now, it's going to be... Okay, there we go. Next week, these three will have a... No, you're right! Dude, you're right! It's been... First it's tables, now it's ladders. Next week, it's gonna be chairs. Ow! Dang it. Dang it, Matt. Before the Rumble, it'll be a stairs match. And then where are they gonna have it? I can't help it. It's alright. It's alright. Well, where are they gonna have at the Rumble then? Are they gonna have like a fucking is it gonna be a TLCS match? Hold on. And Batista getting the one up on Triple H again. It's the same thing. The week after that, match at the fair.
I think it's safe to say, King, that he's not at 100%.
The Rumble will be a steel cage match just to be confusing. And then CM Punk will win that one.
Wow! If he keeps this up, this could be over quick.
All right, cool. Well. All right, is Batista... Oh, shit! Ow! Ow! Dude, Triple H was so stunned by what he did there that he that he started like fidgeting in place. Wow.
The game. An elbow. He's
All right, now the question is CM Punk going to just stand there and actually, like, just watch them, or is he going to try to win this match? Because there was just so much of nothing happening last time. We skipped that match, chat. We skipped that whole match because it was just really, like, aggravating me. We fucking switched over to TNA. It was so bad.
Oh my God! This could be the end of the match. Can he reach it?
It really could be the end of the match, chat. Justin Gabriel! Justin Gabriel is out here! Holy shit!
You are watching cable television.
Probably out here to get one more up on Triple H. Dude, he looks huge! He looks huge next to these guys. What?
What's he planning here?
Fucking Justin Gabriel looks absolutely huge next to everyone in this match. What is this? Chat, I don't recall him looking this big at any point in his career.
Up the ladder, and this is so dangerous.
I do not recall Justin Gabriel looking this big at any point in his career. He's over there with, like, the AJ Styles serum.
The tension in this arena is palpable for this main event, and Triple H hits the ground.
All right, so who is Justin Gabriel gonna go after? Is he going after Batista? I mean, it looks like that he just did a finisher on Batista. So.
And he's getting out of there. Again, this is a no disqualification match. Anything goes.
Well, I think that's about to be put to the test here.
Not the cow rod. Dang it. All right.
I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there are goosebumps.
I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Ow. That was dangerous there, Matt. Much like Justin Gabriel is right now. So wait, who exactly does Justin Gabriel? Ow, I do need a Band-Aid, dude.
Oh man, did you hear that?
Unfortunately, those don't come with the Twitch care package.
Jarring. Never have so few inches seemed so far away.
A giant gold ring around a long boy's neck, ladies and gentlemen. Step on up. Come on. Let's go. Hurry.
Ah, you stink. Whoops.
Or maybe you didn't.
You fucking stink, man. Wait, do I still have, like, the stipulation in there that if you hit my neck, I'll give you a sub?
Nothing to win here tonight.
The game, controlling the head.
Okay.
Oh man,
I feel worse than Justin Gabriel does right now, dude, after that avalanche suplex.
Outside the ring than in it.
Dude, they are not playing to the stipulation at all. They're just brawling. They're not playing to the stip at all. And Justin Gabriel, I'm pretty sure he just forgot the script. I'm pretty sure Justin Gabriel just forgot what he was out here to do, man.
He's quickly becoming attached to that chair.
Not true. At some points, they were trying to climb the ladder. Yeah, at some points. That's been like 10% of this match. Every other point, it's just been absolute, just strokage. Not knowing what to do now that Justin Gabriel is out here. You know?
Vows to win every match to set the example for the WWE Universe.
He vows to win every match, huh? Well, that didn't really work out for him very well last week, did it? Justin Gabriel has just inserted himself into the match. He will hit his finish. At some point, he will. Eventually, he will hit his finisher.
He has an opportunity to grab the case.
Oh no. Dude, Justin Gabriel is distracting them. Oh no. Ah! On the chair, dude. On the chair. He spiked him on the chair from the ladder. What? Triple H! Triple H! Woo! Wow!
And that punch lands hard. Batista.
What a spear from CM Punk! They are trying to outdo WrestleMania X7, LOL. I guess so. Because look at this. Dude, Justin Gabriel is still not done. He literally hit his 450 splash. You think I'm taking that 450 in your dreams, kid?
Wheels himself onward. The game. They lock up.
Dude, you would think it's 2004 with the way Triple H is moving right now.
Triple H is a guaranteed Hall of Famer, but he's not thinking about what he's done in the past. He's only focused on the present and winning. And that's what the game does best.
Oh, is that true?
He's gonna need it here.
Is that why he lost last week? What the? Oh! They're trying to... Dude. What are they doing? What are they doing?
And this plan appears to have backfired. You know, CM Punk likes to play it.
Oh, it's Triple H and Batista chance. Okay.
Plenty bad for your health. What a tackle!
All right, CM Punk is just looking out to the outside of the ring now, and I guess Justin Gabriel is just done. He was literally like, "My work here is done." Okay, cool, thank you. And he lost the briefcase, and now his lower back is broken. And there goes Gabriel. He whooped Triple H's ass. Did he? I don't remember what he did. He just kind of like existed in this match for like at least 7 minutes, doing nothing. Okay, hold on. Did he do it? He did it. He landed it. Okay, cool. Well, Batista, the WWE champion, wins this ladder match. Next week, they will have a chairs match. And then at the Royal Rumble, they will have a steel cage inferno match. Because if you think of ladders, tables, and chairs, you also think of fire as well. Hold on. It's a new rivalry. Batista and CM Punk are now enemies. Okay, cool. And then at Elimination Chamber, they'll have a false count anywhere match. And then I'm gonna switch over to TNA because fuck that. Christian with MVP versus Dolph Ziggler with Cody Rhodes. Rob Van Dam versus Ezekiel Jackson. 2 ECW alumni right here on SmackDown, chat. That's insane. But we already watched all of Raw, so we'll skip this. Ezekiel Jackson, who notably killed Christian Cage before bringing him back, won against Rob Van Dam, which that's a red, brother. Sexayete and Maurice take on Santino and Brie Bella. The Sexayete wins, and Christian with MVP takes on Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler wins, because nothing is sacred now. All right. Oh, okay. Hold on. Chat. Hold the fucking phone. SmackDown is actually kind of cooking this week, I'm not gonna lie. We got Shelton Benjamin versus Chris Jericho. Cody Rhodes with Dolph Ziggler versus Luke Gallows with The Controller. David Hart Smith and Tyson Kidd taking on the Ruthless Roundtable and William Regal and Ezekiel Jackson. And then the main event is Shawn Michaels versus Sheamus, #1 contender match. Dude, SmackDown is kind of cooking too. I'm not gonna lie. After that first week, they were like, oh shit, we need to lock in. And they did it. They did it, chat. Honestly, I kind of want to watch a couple of these matches. Is there one that we're kind of leaning towards or not? Hold on just a second here. Yes, Ricky Steamboat is the #1 contender. The Controller joins the straight. You know what? I'm making it so. I'm making it so, brother. Where's the Controller? The Controller. There we go. Of course I want to save my SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 save data. Why wouldn't I? Oh, but now we got Christian and Chris Jericho. Oops. Well, okay. Christian versus Chris Jericho. Oh yeah, that's right. Jericho got traded to SmackDown as well. Cody Rhodes with Dolph Ziggler versus Luke Gallows with the Controller. David Hart Smith and Tyson Kidd takes on the Ruthless Roundtable. And Shawn Michaels versus Sheamus, #1 contenders match for the World Championship, probably. Yeah, like a WrestleMania 20 rematch, but the rules are reversed now. So, chat. We just watched Raw. We just watched Raw, right? So we're not going to watch this. Christian has defeated Jericho. The Controller defeated Cody Rhodes. Ruthless Roundtable versus Hart Dynasty. David Hart Smith wins it for his team. And in the main event, it's Shawn Michaels versus Sheamus. Shawn Michaels wins! So it is likely, chat, going to be the Heartbreak Kid taking on the Phenom at the Royal Rumble. A WrestleMania rematch to end all WrestleMania rematches here, chat. It doesn't get much better than that. All right, cool. Well then, Sexayete versus John Morrison with Lex Luger. R-Truth versus David Otunga with Justin Gabriel. Why isn't R-Truth out here with John Morrison? Holy shit. Okay, well we have another kind of a banger show here. What? We have Sexayete taking on John Morrison, R-Truth taking on A-List Otunga, Druid versus Batista, and the main event is Triple H and Jack Swagger, which honestly, you know, now that I say that, I don't want to watch that. I don't really want to watch that now that I think about it. Chad, do we want to watch, do we want to watch any of these? I kind of want to watch the Druid match. In fact, yeah, we're watching the Druid match. Sexayete takes on John Morrison. The Sexayete wins. R-Truth takes on David Otunga, rather A-List Otunga, with Justin Gabriel. A-List Otunga loses. Druid versus Bautista. I kind of wanted to watch the main to see if Gabriel interferes again. Okay, we can do that, sure. Druid versus Bautista, the WWE champion, right here. Honestly, you know, like last time, I'm not really expecting much out of Druid. You know, I'm not expecting too much out of him. But, dude, imagine. It would be such an upset if he beat goddamn Bautista right here.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
We must continue Drew's story to the WWE title. If Drew wins, he gets Batista at the Rumble for the title. I don't know about that, but I would love for that to happen. Dude, every time with Batista, we never get to see his entrance. He just does run-ins every time. If Gabriel helps Swagger win, does that mean Swagger joins the new Nexus? Dude, if that happens, then I'll reform the Nexus with fucking Jack Swagger as the leader. Okay? But not Wade Barrett. That handheld Never Wade Barrett now. Just fucking hit your moves, dude.
I think it's safe to say
Batista!
after that brutal assault before the match.
A Batista bomb on Druid. And that might be it right there, dude. Does Otunga get a legacy pass into the Swagger Nexus? I would say so. Considering that he was the one that betrayed Wade Barrett. Actually, I don't remember who betrayed who. I'm pretty sure it was actually Wade Barrett that betrayed Otunga. That betrayed A-list Otunga. Oh, Matt, you suck.
Or maybe you didn't. You owe me $10 either way.
I expect that shit faxed to me, brother. I expect that $10 faxed to me by Thursday morning. Well, that sucked, dude. I mean, that fucking sucked. Dude, every time with Batista, he never wins clean, dude. Ow! Dang it. Alright. Alright, Jack Swagger in his first match. Ow. Actually, no, this would be his second match since coming back. But hopefully his first match where we see his entrance. Right? Why are you booing me? I realize that Jack Swagger sucks dookie diarrhea. But listen, I didn't choose to rehire him. That right there was out of my control. Ow. Dude. I understand. You're trying to throw them at Jack Swagger, but he was on screen. Ow. You gotta aim them a little better. Jack Swagger is a little... You're overshooting them a bit. Jack Swagger is right there on screen, okay? Ow! I don't know if he likes Cheetos that much. But if he doesn't, you should throw more at him, not me. Ow! Ow! I don't know if you're... I don't think you're trying to hit Jack Swagger now. I think you're trying to hit me. Either that or you're trying to throw them at Triple H now, which is fair, but, you know. You're still overshooting it. Definitely you. Alright, well, check this out, chat. I was trying to hit Triple H.
And his opponent from Perry, Oklahoma, weighing 263 pounds, the All-American Jack Swagger.
This piece of shit, chat. Somehow weaseled his way back into the Fed. He has the gall to come out here acting like he did anything. You know? Even though he kind of did. He is a former world champion. 2 times over at this point, at least.
To pin or make their opponent tap.
This man has been a thorn in our side ever since the start of this, and it looks like he will continue to be one as we wrap it up. As we wrap up universe mode here.
Jack Swagger controlling the...
Okay, fine. Well, amateur arm takedown there for friggin' Jack Swagger. This fucking guy. Also, I need to reset the chat. Hold on just a second.
Big right hand right to the chin.
And that's a stiff kick.
There we go.
Look at this.
Cool.
Clothesline.
Definitely you. Ow.
Jack Swagger from Perry, Oklahoma.
But no, I want to see if Justin Gabriel interferes in this one too.
Jack Swagger loves to brag
I feel like that would be sick as hell.
and he uses some of those moves in every match.
But no, I think we're going to get at least one interference in this. If it's not Justin, it's going to be like Batista or something.
And the boot connects.
Especially after that Druid match, Batista's totally fresh. You know? He didn't break a single sweat defeating Druid.
Well, he's been on a a serious role as of late, and another win here really has to put him in contention for the WWE Championship. Oh! Oh,
I don't know, man. He's lost like 2 matches in a row. So. Alright, hold on. Let me go ahead and put music back on.
Anyone has ever been in WWE.
Oh yeah, the game just loves to stir the pot.
High knee.
I don't know if it's just me, chat, but also Triple H in this game, he has that like Donkey Kong from Super Smash Bros. Melee build. Like, do any of you know what I'm talking about? Like, in Melee, Donkey Kong was super top heavy. And this Triple H is also like really top heavy, I feel like.
And there's an elbow drop.
Like, he's all shoulder in this game. You know?
Down on the head. Oh, and this one's spilling out of the ring. Look at the cockiness of Swagger.
He's all shoulder. He looks like a triangle.
You can see the mind turning. You have to wonder what Triple H has in store next. Oh! The game has the headlock.
Triple H looks like a thumb wrestler in this game. So does Swagger. I feel like Triple H looks more like a thumb wrestler in this game. He'd be on like the World Thumb Wrestling Federation for sure. Thumb Wrestling Federation, yes! Holy shit, Tom, you and I were on the same page. Wow. Over here with goddamn Evil Ira and Hometown Hunk. Dude, Hometown Hunk was my guy. All right, and the big time.
Without a doubt, there's a big fight feel here in the arena.
Over here getting this goddamn money with En Fuego, dude. I'm so sad that is like partially lost now. How do you lose Thumb Wrestler Federation? You know? How do you lose the Thumb Wrestling Federation? Some mark has to have them on their hard drive somewhere. Infinite, do you have it? Do you have the Thumb Wrestling on your hard drive? If you do, then you would be doing the world a service. I do not. Ah, damn it, dude.
What do you think the game strategy needs to be here, Ken?
He has the experience to win this match. He needs to draw on that right now and come up with an answer.
And the pain has to be shooting through his face.
All right, competitive match here. As Triple H and Jack Swagger actually kind of go back and forth here.
Oh yeah, power, aggression.
I mean, listen, dude, I fucked with like Evil Ira heavy, but then he went from the Dexteras to the Sinistras, and I cried. Okay, nothing was ever the same for me after that. When friggin' Evil Ira got up on that video package and said his real home was with the Sinistras, I was absolutely gutted. All right. I should have known. He was Evil Ira.
Oh man, did you hear that?
Oh my, like his name was Evil Ira.
It's almost
that
time
right
for
there
a
is a
3-minute
friggin'
throw stuff
Sinistra.
at Stev break, my dudes.
That throw stuff at Stev break.
Oh, the power of Swagger.
Like, I should have known just from like looking at him that he was actually a Sinistra. His name is Evil Ira. All right.
Swagger is so confident in his ability. And there's the submission hold. Will this do it? Oh, the ref begins the count, but he continues to apply the pressure. Just a dominating.
To be fair, he wanted to be called Good Ira, but that name was taken. Wait, was that actually a thing?
Again, this is our main event of the evening.
Taken by who? Who the fuck was Good Ira?
This could be huge.
Yes, if I remember correctly, it was in his backstory video. No, really? Boo! He just lays waste to everyone, dude. He defeated Druid last week, and this week he unceremoniously beats Triple H. He's just like a
It's
black
flow
hole.
stuff at Stev time. Where are the ladders, my dudes?
Well, that sucked. Ow. That sucked shit, dude. You know what? Honestly, fine. You know what? That's absolutely okay. After a match like that, yes, I agree with you. All right. Battle Royal here. Ow. Honestly, kind of a crazy one here. Mike Knox and Vladimir Kozlov take on Druid and Lex Luger. Lex Luger wins it for his team. All right. Melina versus Alicia Fox. And then the main event. I'm going to put the hardcore title on the line, chat. I'm putting this hardcore title on the line. What is this main event? It's a battle royal, brother. Hardcore title's on the line. Or at least it would be if the game would let me put it on the line. Well, whatever. Yeah, but the names involved. Yeah, it's fucking great, dude. I changed the rules. It's a battle royale now. I changed the rules. It's a hardcore battle royal now.
The following contest is an over-the-top rope six-man.
I changed the rules. I'm a helicopter now. Whee! All right, Chris Masters could, in fact, get his hardcore championship back in this matchup right here, chat. But it's going to take quite a bit, I feel like, considering that he's going up against 5 other guys, including this guy. Ain't no stopping him, no! Sean Benjamin.
From Orangeburg, South Carolina, weighing 248 pounds, the gold standard, Shelton Benjamin.
This is a crazy look for him, by the way. The golden hair here. Like, that look was always insane to me, honestly. But hey, he could fucking win the big one here. The Rock entrance with, like, the 90s music and the 2003 Tron is crazy. It's got the Hollywood Rock, like, Titantron, but, like, the 90s rock music. Tom, you posted the Evil Ira biography in media? That's insane, dude. Oh, I love you very much for that. There's more, too. Wait, what do you mean? The Senator Skull? Oh my gosh. There he is.
Their opponent from Baltimore, Maryland, the Masked Man.
There he is. We haven't seen him in like ages. It's the Controller. Over here taking nice little paydays on the A show superstars.
And their opponent from Stone Mountain, Georgia, weighing 267 pounds, Jake the Snake Roberts.
There's more too. Dude, I can't believe that out of all the stuff that's been preserved, we've got Senator Skull and Evil Ira bios.
Cross Ranch, Amarillo, Texas.
Dude, we gotta watch these after this match, I think. I think we have to watch these after this match. That feels pretty, like, necessary to me. Alright, here we go.
That was unique.
wait, I was about to say, am I, like, controlling somebody here? I don't think I pressed select on, you know, Shelton Benjamin. Oh, fucking bullshit. Goddamn bitch motherfucker. I'm no longer the hardcore champion. Dude, Terry Funk immediately losing the hardcore championship after, I think, actually no, I'm pretty sure that he won it like at Survivor Series, I think. I don't quite remember when he like lost it or like when he won it. I would have to look into it again.
And they pushed him out. They got him out.
And the Control R is out as well. 3 legends in the ring right now. Oh boy. What the? I was about to say, Masters, what are you doing, man? What a fall from grace for Control R. I don't think he really minds that much. He's out here getting these fat superstars checks, brother. It's all good. All right. Chris Masters could be getting this belt back right here. Does he? Does he get the belt back? Right here.
Such a physical specimen, and he's got that master lock to boot. With those two things, Masters is always dangerous in the ring.
Yeah, I think he's got it back. He's got it back. He's got it. He's got it. He's got it.
Masters wins.
Dude, immediately he gets the belt back. Well, he mastered his elimination technique. He mastered it. Wasn't really much of a question, honestly. All right, cool. Well, you know what? Good job, Chris Masters. You fucking got the belt back. It didn't even really take that long, but you got it back. Good job. All right, cool. I'm going to go ahead and put that back on him then. Chris Masters. There you are. Once again, the hardcore champion. It is Chris Masters right here. He mastered the elimination technique. Apparently, in like some runs, at least from like runs that, that my friends have told me about, they've had guys like Chris Masters win the belt, like the big belt, several times in a single run. Wait, hold on. Cody, don't you already have a partner in like Dolph Ziggler or no? I mean, this is like a rare team up here. Like, we don't see Crime Time really at all. So I'm kind of thinking, maybe this will be a cool little bit here. Sure. I will give this the opportunity to surprise me here. I want to see who the mystery man is. I want to see who the mystery man is for this match. Man, chat, remember when Shad won the IC belt like months ago at this point? That was a fun time. Tucson, Arizona for SmackDown.
Tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. Approaching the ring, JTG and Shad.
Yes. What are they together, Tony? Woo! Look at baby Cody here, chat. Coming out here with not Sami Zayn. We're not quite there yet.
He was going to find a partner. Don't speak too soon, King.
Oh, hey, it's the same team that we got last time. Are we just memory holding the fact that these two teamed up before?
Rhodes set to start this one.
Okay, fine. You know what? If you're gonna memory hole it, so will I. I will memory hole it as well, SmackDown. You go ahead and you fucking go off, brother. That's okay. There, Dolph Ziggler, they won it for their team. Dolph Ziggler and Cody Rhodes' friendship has gotten even better. Drew McIntyre defeats Finlay. The Hart Dynasty versus Jizz. Hart Dynasty wins. Steel Cage, it's Shawn Michaels versus Sheamus. Sheamus wins. All right, hold on. All right, go home episode of Raw. Hold on. One-on-one between CM Punk and... Okay, well, we know... Listen. This right here is like 2010 Triple H. We know he's going over. You know? Fatal four-way here between R-Truth, John Morrison, David Otunga, and the Sexayete is an insane combo. It's an insane combo, chat. All right, well, hold on. I'll simulate up to the Rumble, chat. I think that we're pretty good on this. Mark Henry versus Matt Henry. Matt Henry gets his win back. I'm surprised that Jack Swagger is not in this show at all, chat. The Sexayete takes on John Morrison, takes on R-Truth versus A-List Otunga. R-Truth beats all three of them. Natalya versus Alicia Fox. Natalya wins. In the main event, it's number one contender, Triple H versus CM Punk. And CM Punk wins! So it could be CM Punk versus Bautista at the Royal Rumble here, chat. Wow. In 2010? All right, well, we actually might have a chance. Okay. All right, Yoshitatsu versus Vladimir Kozlov. Yoshitatsu continues a little, a nice little win streak that he has going here. Maybe he's next up for the US title. Hold on. Well, hold on, let me see the rankings here. Batista is number 7. All right. Okay, it looks like the Raging Climax are not as climactic as they were before. Let's see here. The Miz and Maurice. Wow. Dude, the game knew. Taking on John Morrison and Nikki Bella. The Miz and Maurice win. And then the Mariz. We can still call them Jizz, though. Christian versus Dolph Ziggler and Cody Rhodes. Dolph Ziggler and Cody Rhodes win. I imagine they've reformed their team. Yes, in fact, they do. They do, in fact, do that shit. All right. On to SmackDown. I want contenders match again for probably the Intercontinental Championship here. Shad Gaspard and JTG versus Dolph Ziggler and Cody Rhodes. Dolph Ziggler and Cody Rhodes win again. It's Beth Phoenix and Kelly Kelly, number one contendership. Beth Phoenix wins. And then in the main event, it is Sheamus, MVP, and Kane here for a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. I kind of want to see this one, chat. In all fairness, I would like to see if he can win it, you know? Oh, right. The main event is Jericho versus Taker. That's right. Apologies. Masked Kane. with his big weird mouth. With his big weird jaw piece that unhinges and makes him look really strange. Master Kane going for the Intercontinental Championship right here. Oh boy, someone's gonna do a run-in, I can tell.
The following triple threat match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, weighing 323 pounds, Kane.
Is Zach in chat? Here's your boy. I got your boy right here, brother. Come and pick up your boy. All right, let's see if MVP can actually pull one out here. Now he's got two sleeves. That's not real Kane. What? Hey, Sheamus! Dude, hold on. Hold on, didn't I turn you face? Didn't I turn you face, man? Okay, and MVP, dude. Okay, well, listen, if anything, that's just kind of smart play from Sheamus. We all know that MVP's a fucking chump. So him jumping MVP at the start is pretty apt, honestly.
As we get started, what has to be going on in the mind of Sheamus?
Well, he just came here to SmackDown, so you know he's going to want to impress our general manager.
Hold on just a second, chat. Okay, good. Music. Where is it?
MVP going for the cover.
And the count's broken, keeping the match alive.
MVP, can you do anything? Can you maybe win a match? I would like for that to be the case, because you haven't won a match in like a long time.
On his opponent, the more pleasure he gets out of it.
Because if you can go for the IC title at the Royal Rumble, I'd be pretty happy with that, dude. That would make me smile ear to ear, honestly.
He catches him with the axe handle. Oh, wow. Ow, that was a serious shot there.
It's been some night here on Friday Night SmackDown, and we're still rolling.
Absolutely, brother. I will say we are not watching the main event, though. We will be watching, all of the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. But not, the actual, main event of this SmackDown.
MVP. Oh, what's going to happen here? Oh, what an incredible move.
I don't know, maybe Shawn screws Taker over and Jericho gets the #1 contendership, I suppose. I was about to say, I feel like that there's really not a lot of incentive for Jericho to win the match.
I think I saw two.
Gotta make time for the long Rumble match. Yeah. With that in mind, I probably shouldn't have chosen to watch this match because, with it being multi-man, it's probably gonna take a minute. But listen, I just want to see MVP win something, anything, because he has been just consistently terrible ever since the beginning of this universe mode, and I would like for there to be a comeback story for him. Okay?
When I look at Sheamus, I just see that whitened body. It reminds me of a corpse. In fact, I might like him better if he were one. Oh, look at this! DDT!
Gotta make time for the long Rumble matches is very, very true. But I would like for MVP to win something. Like, we put so much stock in him at the beginning, and he's just disappointed me time and time again. Why do you disappoint me, MVP? Second by second, you just waste my time. You know? Second by second, my time is wasted by him. You know?
Realization has to be setting in. Sheamus is in desperate straits. Oof. Right on the tape, across MVP's nose, like a bullseye. Oh! Bam! Kane with the arm.
He's got him. Wow, what a slam to the ground. Ooh, that did it.
And a shot to the solar plexus.
Boss fight music.
How great is MVP? I mean,
This right here is Here Comes the Pain music, brother. The best music in the wrestling games.
One, two.
Okay, I was about to say, MVP, please. Do something, man, anything.
MVP, such a determined superstar, really toughened up, in his words, early on in his life, and has made the best of it.
What an incredible lariat!
And there's another nasty kick to the gut. And you got to figure.
Whoa, no way, Northern Lights!
After a few of those. Hey, in a boot to the gut.
I probably should have made this like a three-way dance or something. But whatever.
An aggressive shot to the midsection. MVP, a multi.
Let's say you're not going to get the pin off of that, especially if Kane is still up, dude. It's just not going to happen.
Oh my, just raw, unmitigated power.
I swear. Okay.
This match isn't over yet.
I was about to say, if he was just like chillaxing in the corner and he let it go, I'm officially done with this man. He has let me down too much.
Wow, what a suplex! Oh.
And I can't take it anymore, chat. I can't take the disappointment anymore.
Ouch! Hey, Michael, did you hear? Sheamus tried to enter an ugly contest and they said, sorry, no professional.
MVP.
Wait, no way. Overdrive! It's awful, but it works. Hold on. Sheamus just tries to go for it immediately.
The demented Kane is like a wounded beast now, just trying to survive.
Dude, I am not over, like, the mouth on Kane's model here.
Irish-born champion in WWE.
It doesn't move like the original, because the original didn't move. It didn't move with his chin, you know? I swear. One. Okay. Like, I didn't want to, like, make things easy for freaking MVP, you know? Because that doesn't really make a good story. What makes a better story is him, like, coming out from underneath and actually winning this shit. You know?
Oh! MVP.
Come on, MVP. Oh, nice. No, I'm not doing the overdrive. Go to hell. Thank you for the 5-stream streak, brother. Ooh. I forget that this is no DQ. Yeah, you're right. Also, chat. First off, do I have people's attention when I say this? And I need to ask this, right? Because people at the new job, you know, I've been talking to them on and off. I told them about my former work as, you know, someone who worked in, you know, a news station. And my question is, do I have a voice for radio, chat? I mean, you listen to me for like hours on end at this point, right? So I'd imagine the answer is probably positive. But I want to hear from you. Do I have a voice for radio and TV? Or I guess at this point, like one for like podcasts, you know? Do you enjoy my succulent tones?
He plants him down with authority. Oh, ow! Oh, just continuing to beat his opponent down.
Because when they told me that, I was flattered.
Right on his neck from that German suplex.
They said that I had a voice that they could hear me talk about anything for hours with. No way. Oh, he's an idiot! Kane is an idiot! And because of that, MVP gets the #1 contender spot! Oh my god! That was lucky, dude! That was so lucky! MVP did it! MVP! #1 contender! The underdog, he's lost so many matches, dude. So fucking many. And now, he has a shot at the IC title. At the Royal Rumble. Oh my god. Wow.
Ow. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Dude, I never thought that we would see this man on top again. I thought that he was just cooked forever. But he did it. Somehow, by God, he did it. Wow. Why Sheamus? Why? Sheamus has turned his back on the WWE Universe. Man. Well, that was a fun babyface run while it lasted. But now he's right back where he belongs, in the heel side of things. And Jericho wins against The Undertaker in the lead up to the show. What? Okay. I'm just going to imagine that Shawn Michaels ran in. You know? Oh my god, chat. Yeah, people will be meeting the heel of Sheamus's foot. Fatal 4-way. What? Sheamus is back in? Let's just admit, and dude, we haven't seen Edge once since he joined SmackDown. What is he doing here? What the fuck is he doing here, chat? Huh? Dude, genuinely, huh? I guess that's to make sure they have a payday booking. I guess so. Because Edge hasn't been seen in months at this point. We're setting up the chamber. We're setting up for the chamber match, brother. I guess so. Because what? This makes no sense. Like, Edge has not been seen for months. Shawn Michaels did win the #1 contendership, but Sheamus did win. He like got his win back against them the next week. So fine. I guess that makes a little sense. But Edge? I booked you to end. Dude, I traded Edge to SmackDown to end Jack Swagger's reign. And only just now he decides to show up? No. Edge convinced Vicky to put him in the match in the backstage segment. That dude, you know what? That is probably what fucking happened. That does sound like it would have happened there. All right, chat. Well, but we got quite a freaking crazy card here, honestly. We have The Miz versus Ricky Steamboat for the United States Championship. Drew McIntyre versus MVP for the Intercontinental title. The same three-way that we've had all season long. Natalya, Melina, and Maurice for the Divas title. Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Sheamus, and Edge in a fatal four-way for the World Heavyweight title. Bautista versus CM Punk for the WWE title. And then the big one, the Royal Rumble match. Whoever wins this will go on to WrestleMania to main event it. But first, chat, I need to take a small break. I gotta take a small break. When we come back, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna freaking do this. Actually, hold on. I'm pretty sure if I just run an ad, I'll be back in time. I don't think I need to, jump to break just yet. But let's go ahead and let's run an ad here. See you all in a few.
It's break time. Where are the Cheetos, my dudes?
How do you clean your feet? You bend, stretch, and you can't reach. Keeping your tired feet looking young is such a chore, but not anymore. This is Easy Feet, a revolution in convenience. A foot massage every day. Easy Feet has over 1,000 rejuvenating bristles to gently massage and clean the top, the bottom, and even has a built-in pumice stone for rough, cracked heels. So make ugly, dry skin a thing of the past.
Easy Feet makes me feel a lot more confident when wearing my strappy shoes.
Easy Feet will literally change the way you bathe forever. Easy Feet's unique design not only cleans your feet, but massages and gently exfoliates and eliminates dirt. And most importantly, Easy Feet cleans in between your toes.
It's great because you don't have to bend over and worry about slipping and falling. I can't believe how great it feels on my feet.
Easy Feet is awesome! Just secure Easy Feet to any smooth shower or tub surface, or even the wall. Turn your bath into a foot spa with Easy Feet. It's like a car wash for your feet. Refresh those tired feet. Easy Feet is perfect for athletes of all ages to help eliminate that foot odor.
My feet look 10 times better and I love it. I love Easy Feet.
It feels great.
Leave an Easy Feet in every tub and every shower. Don't get into bed and dirty your sheets when it only takes a minute to clean your feet. So stop doing that one-legged dance in the shower and stop ignoring your feet. Call now and we'll send you Easy Feet for only $14.99. But when you call, we'll send you a second Easy Feet absolutely free. Just pay separate processing. So that's 2 Easy Feet for only $14.99. This double offer won't last long, so call now.
Om nom nom, oh excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
I'm here. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm coming. Hi. 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 Welcome back to tonight's Long Boy Club meeting, everybody. We are at the Royal Rumble. It is time for this bullshit. We are doing Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. It's been 10,000 years, Stev. Where were you? I was taking the longest leak, brother. Now I'm feeling good. I got my Airhead Sours here. I'm ready to go. Let's fucking do some Royal Rumble stuff.
The following contest is for the United States Championship.
I'm not gonna lie to you, chap. If Ricky wins this, I'll be popping so hard. I'll be popping the hardest if The Miz wins this match. If Ricky wins this match, not The Miz. I'm sorry, my fucking Airhead Sours are making it so I don't know who's who anymore. Stuff's hard now, okay?
And introducing the challenger from Hawaii, weighing 237 pounds.
It's turning you into an airhead. I'm afraid you're right, Tom. I've had these sours in here ever since Christmas, and they're still good. Wait, what? Huh?
Hey, look who bought a ticket for this one. And in the front row, no less.
Okay, dude, you're probably in the Royal Rumble later. Why did you do that? Yes, ever since Christmas. Dude, these things can last like an atomic bomb, probably.
Where 16,697 WWE fans are all waiting for the answer to the question, who will be the one? We liken the Royal Rumble to the All-Star game, and I'm sitting next to a true All-Star, Jerry the King Lawler. And King, are you ready for this?
6 months!
Absolutely fantastic.
6 months? 6 months? Yeah, dude. Well, let me look at the, can we look at the sell-by date?
Just wanted a closer look. You think of those battles.
Yeah, this was good until July of next year. I'm fine, don't worry.
Making it more aggressive.
Well, you're right about that. Those matches with John Cena elevated the status of The Miz.
I'm alright, bud. I probably had it in for longer than that, if I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't know how long I had those airheads in there for, but I found them. I was just like, wait, are these still good? And sure enough, according to the label, yes, they are. So,
Miz has the headlock.
hey, listen, if they're not good, I have a hell of a case on my hands. So, I've got a hell of a case on my hands in case, like, things get, you know,
Well, no,
I
not
see.
really. The Miz has already made most people wish his parents had never met.
Oh, dang, the brain chop from the top rope, dude. That's crazy. He's lighting up the Miz incredibly with these chops now. Oh! Hold on, is he gonna do it to the back? No. No, he's not. Dude, there was a lot of mustard on those chops. Yeah, the Miz is going to need to bring better than his best if he wants to retain the U.S. title here.
There it is. Oh, wow.
So, like, out of all the legends that we've had, Ricky Steamboat is, like, the only one that's really gone anywhere. Like, Stone Cold, he's not really done anything. The Rock, no. Jake Roberts, no. Terry Funk, God, no. I'm over here trying to win the Hardcore Championship. It's only been Ricky, dude. It's only been Ricky this whole time. He's a multi-tie tag champ at this point with the Sexay Yete. And Now he's challenging for the US title. We'll see if he can keep up with the much younger Miz. Ricky's the only one not resting on his name and star power. Exactly. I mean, you gotta love it. You know, like, you gotta love someone that actually wants to, like, you know, to fucking get in the game. You know? You would think that Terry Funk would be a lot more kind of, you know, go-hung about it. Rather, I'm gung-ho about it, I should say.
It doesn't get more punishing than that. Watch out here.
But no, that is absolutely not the case. It's only been Ricky, I think.
What should Steamboat's strategy be here, King?
Well, as the big man, he needs to get his weight into this thing and wear his opponent out.
Ricky Steamboat.
A big man. Didn't hurt. Terry Funk insists on being in the hardcore division. He wants to be a helicopter. I mean, yeah, to be fair, Terry Funk has been doing some stuff in the hardcore division, so there's that.
A dozen WWE Hall of Famers.
Get ready, folks. Get ready.
That is, in fact, a thing that happened. Miz, stop going into business for yourself and take the finisher. I know. I don't know if, like, the AI knows how to do the crossbody, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I don't know if, like, they know how to play as Ricky Steamboat. Here, music.
What in the world did we just see? That was amazing. Great counter. Steamboat is simply amazing.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Old Stone Cold. Oh, hell yeah.
Nobody wants to lose this opportunity.
Terry Funk insists on being in the hardcore division. It's like a division that we continue to force, I feel like, you know? No, the Wizard of Oz! You know what? I gotta give it to the Miz. He's really bringing it. But will this be enough?
He thinks he has it. One,
two. And the Miz retains against Ricky Steamboat. Man. Okay, well, that's a bit of a deflating way to start the show, unfortunately. Is Ricky even going to get another shot at this? I don't know. Yeah, sure. The Miz. We get it. We know. Absolutely not. Hate that. I hate that for our boy Ricky Steamboat, but what are you gonna do, you know? Okay, fine. And then he missed. Dude, he said it's missing time, and then he missed all over the ring. Aw, and I cannot stress this enough. Dude. Okay, well, listen. Maybe our hopes will be answered here. Because now it's time for the Intercontinental Championship. It's time for the Intercontinental Championship between MVP and Drew McIntyre. We've been hoping for something like this for MVP for months at this point. We've been hoping that he would get, like, back in gear and do something already. And well, chat, now is his chance to do something. If he can't get it done here, I fear he might be cooked. So please, do something. Anything.
And introducing the challenger from Miami, Florida, weighing 259 pounds, Montel Vontavious Porter, otherwise known as MVP.
Did MVP ever win this belt in real life or no? This feels like something that he would have won, right?
God!
Not quite. Not quite. Come on, MVP. Take it. Get the belt. I was off by like 2 seconds. It was like 3 or 4 seconds, honestly. Yeah, it was like a whole like 3 seconds. That's insane. All right, Intercontinental Championship on the line here. MVP, you gotta do something here, dude. Otherwise, I'm afraid you're cooked. I will not believe in you again.
And that's what it's all about. That's the prize they're going after right there.
You know, until I forget about this and then I start, you know, believing in you again.
This match will not be pretty. It will be grit and power and determination.
You know what?
To determine who comes away with the win.
I think this is deserving of Monster Girl Quest.
Remember, the Intercontinental Championship's on the line.
Sure is, dude.
What do you think's going through the mind of...
All right, Tree of Woe here by Drew McIntyre. Oh, but MVP is able to get out from under it. You know, before any big damage is done. Big lariat there from old Drewski.
Drew McIntyre.
That was an impressive suplex.
He's in trouble. Yeah, MVP needs to like do something here fast.
Drew McIntyre was personally recruited by the chairman of the WWE.
Because I'm very afraid for... Because the longer that he goes in this without getting any offense, the more I'm afraid he's just gonna fucking fumble it.
Still the Gun King.
Like this. Like that! Like that! Exactly like that. No. Oh no. No. No, dude!
DDT. What should MVP be looking to do now, King?
Well, we know about his strike.
Hooks the leg.
It's over.
And Drew McIntyre wins.
Bum. Bum. Bum, bum, bum is MVP. Go to TNA. Absolute fucking bum is MVP. He got maybe 2 strikes in there that whole time.
Here is your winner, and still the Intercontinental Champion, Drew McIntyre.
He's a total bum, chat.
We're going to have a...
Gosh dang it. Okay. Whatever. Well, I guess MVP's full of broken dreams. We're gonna have a Royal Rumble match tonight. That is the idea, man. That's the idea, brother. That is in fact the idea that we are manifesting here. Dude, I'm so bummed I don't even want to watch like the rest of these, if I'm being honest with you. I kind of just want to watch the Royal Rumble if that's okay with everybody. I think we're gonna do that actually. Melina, Maurice, and Natalia. Melina wins. And Fatal 4-Way, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Sheamus, and Edge. Undertaker retains. And then in the main event, it's CM Punk but actually I kind of want to watch this one. Sure. I kind of want to watch this one. All right. It's CM Punk taking on Bautista for the WWE Championship here. Let's do it. Maybe one good thing will happen here, chat. Maybe one good thing will happen on this show.
It's for the WWE Championship. Approaching the ring from Washington, D.C., weighing 290 pounds, he is the WWE Champion, Batista.
This pay-per-view's been dog water, LOL. I know! It's been awful. I'm sorry. Chat. Like, at this point, I'll take, like, Jack Swagger coming on here to just to make it interesting. At least we'll have some to boo then. You know? It's clobbering time! Don't jinx it. Dude, I'm sorry. I'm grasping over here, okay? We got no Chavo. We got no Jack to boo. We got nothing right now, dude. We don't have Ricky Steamboat as the champion. Like, we have nothing going for us here right now. Our favorites are turning into bums. Like, dude, I'm not gonna trust an MVP again. Alright? That man is a bum. He's fucking Kevin Durant. He is fucking Kevin Durant if he was a wrestler. He's garbage, dude. When it matters, he is garbage.
This is it. These two superstars will test each other's will to determine who the best competitor is here tonight. What an impact from the knee.
Okay, fine. You know, this.
What do you believe Batista's thinking here, King?
Well, he looked really impressive in that win last week.
You know what? If CM Punk could win the belt here, I would be pretty happy with that. I think that would be a good set of circumstances for us going into WWE, going into WrestleMania.
From the ring to the floor.
You give Jack an inch and he'll take it a decade. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Oh, hey! CM Punk! CM Punk bringing the fire here to the champ. No way.
Oh, mama.
Dude, no way. What are we seeing here? What are we seeing here? What are we seeing? No way. CM Punk. CM Punk. GTS. GTS. No. But Batista back up to his feet, proving that he is... Oh wait, they must be shorthanding the matches so they're not gassed to do the Rumble. Dude, if MVP comes out and wins the Rumble, I will be absolutely floored. Okay? Yeah, like, we're probably getting really short matches here because, well... You know, they need them to be short for the Rumble in case they get called in.
And the sound of human flesh on the ground echoes around the arena.
All right. Punk. Punk, have something happen on this show.
Got absolutely blasted there.
Have something big happen on this show besides the Rumble, dude.
Goes behind.
Win the belt going into Mania.
Spilling out of the ring, and the animal is all fired up.
You might get the best of Batista on occasion. You might even beat Batista on occasion. But you will never intimidate the animal. Ooh. You hear how his leg connected?
No way. No way. Phil. I need you to lock in, dude.
Batista. What should Punk's strategy be at this point, King?
He's in big trouble.
I think his strategy should be to capitalize on the friggin' spots that he makes.
He'll figure out a way to capitalize on it. Watch it.
Yeah, he's a punk-ass bitch, Tom. Judging from this match.
Batista can bench press 500 pounds. Imagine a man with that much force doing any type of move to you.
Yeah, now we're getting to the point. Like, CM Punk, he got his big moves in early on. But can he, like... But I'm wondering if he can even, like, get him in again, you know? An ankle lock? Dude. Dude, it's those friggin' like OVW chops. From Batista? Holy shit.
With the championship at stake, you know these superstars will get...
Oh boy, I know what's coming. Oh wait, no, I thought it was gonna be the spine buster. What? Dude, I thought that was gonna be like the Batista spine buster. Yeah, that's over, dude. What a Batista bomb! Thank you, 2006, Michael Cole. Wow. Dude, this has been a lame pay-per-view. This has been so lame. I mean, like, listen, I would rather Batista win this belt and retain it, you know, over Jack Swagger winning it. So, you know, there's that. Hi, Oliver. How are you? They're really short-handing us for WrestleMania. They are! It's been stinky as fuck, dude. This entire night's been stinky as hell. Ow! Ow! Ow, ow, ow. Dang it. Alright, well, it's time for the Royal Rumble itself, chat. It's time for the Royal Rumble itself. Who? Ow. Who will go on to Main Event Mania? Will it be Chavo? Will it be... God help us, MVP? Like, no title changes here tonight. There are no title changes here on this night. They are definitively telling you, no. You will get no You'll get no changes on this show. It will be exactly as it's supposed... Ow! It'll be exactly as it's supposed to be going in. Alright. So who do we have in this match, chat? Wait, am I looking at this right? Hold on. I kind of want to change some of the participants. We have 2 Undertakers. Wait, hold on. Is, like, normal Undertaker in this match, too? Oh, yeah, we're changing that. Hold on. And Jimmy Snuka. He should not be in this match at all. So here's what we're gonna do, chat. There. Is Chavo in this match? Undertaker and some biker named Mark Calloway. That's very true. I'm scared that if Lex Luger is in this match, he's gonna break the game. So here's what I'm gonna do instead. Ooh! Replace the Undertaker with Chavo. Okay, you got it. I mean, I just did that, so you know. Chat, what's going on with Chris Jericho? Jericho looks like a friggin' wall hanging. Like Jericho looks like a fathead. Forget Jericho. There's 2 David Hart Smiths. What? Hold on. Yeah, you're right. What? Why? Wait, is this selection screen? I'm pretty sure that Jericho's giant face is just fucking everything up, dude. 2 Batistas. Chat, I'm gonna be honest. This fucking Royal Rumble sucks. I'm changing some things around with it to make it more to make it more interesting. Here's Yoshitatsu. Art imitates life. What, the Rumble sucking? I would like for that to not be the case, but you know. Alright, there we go. There's your Royal Rumble, chat. I wanted to, like, make it so that we have people in it that were with us from the beginning. You know? Because I feel like that makes it the most entertaining for us.
It is time for the Royal Rumble match.
Woo!
The 2 superstars that drew number 1 and number 2 will start. Other superstars will join in the order that they drew. This will continue until all 30 superstars have entered the ring. Now, the only way to be eliminated is to be thrown over the top rope, with both feet landing on the floor. The last man in the ring will be declared the winner of the Royal Rumble.
Ow!
And advance to the main event of WrestleMania.
Ah! All right. Well, who is number 1? I honestly don't remember. No!
WrestleMania.
I don't even know if Santino's in this match, dude.
Are you ready to rumble?
Dude, I am. I'm ready to rumble here. Damn! The former $1 million champion making his way to the ring right here. Looking to go all the way. Looking to go all the way here tonight and get to WrestleMania. You saw RVD2 just shrugging. No
Hello,
fear.
Mario.
Whoa. Whoa, I drew number 1? That's some real bad luck, dude. No way!
Introducing the individual number 2.
Yoshitatsu!
Weighing 220 pounds, Yoshitatsu.
Dude, I am honestly terrified for this man now, if I'm being honest with you. Oh no. RVD and Yoshitatsu are starting this out. This right here is a crazy starting lineup, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hello, Mario.
Hello, RVD RKO.
And here we go with the first 2 competitors
All right.
in the Royal Rumble.
We'll have our 3rd competitor momentarily.
All right, here comes number 3.
He does it again.
Here comes another competitor.
Randy Orton. Dude, we haven't seen Orton or his bald head for this entire run. Where has he been?
Superstars about to head out. He's wobbled.
Yoshitatsu from behind.
Where the actual hell has he been, chat? Wait. Ezekiel Jackson! Noted killer of Christian Cage is here in the building. Orton's been out injured or something. I guess so. He like
looking to get an elimination.
exactly the noted shooter walking with both of his shoulders back.
The Royal Rumble's always so exciting.
Walking with both of his shoulders back.
Is he out? No, he made it back in.
Right, Randy is still in there, and so is Yoshi.
And he's toast.
Who will be the first one out? Whoa! There he is. What? Double goozle! Orton's been out injured or something. Dude, injured with what? We haven't seen him in ever. Dude, what do you get injured by? A bad sneak? No.
The WWE Universe has to be on the edge of its seat for this one.
Oh man, I mean, at the very least, he's out here early, you know.
Oh my, just raw, unmitigated power.
At the very least, he's out here early, so he might be eliminated early too. At least he's not number 30. I was half hoping he would be just for the drama of it, but now he has an opportunity to go all the way, you know. What the? Ow! I literally thought that was coming into the ring for us. I thought that table was like coming into the ring for a second.
I love the Royal Rumble. Who's coming out next?
All right, who's next?
Think about how important this main event is in building momentum.
And building momentum. It's the Royal Rumble. Stop talking about momentum, Michael. Think about how important this match is when it goes right up my asshole. Yeah, Pringles in a bowl. Druid! Holy shit! Man, dude, our faves are getting early freaking draws here.
Yoshi Tatsu.
It's Druid! I watched WWE with Pringles and I bull. Make sure you lick the Pringle dust off the chip, Stev. I always do. And Jack Swagger's out.
An aggressive shot to the midsection.
Jack Swagger's out. He will not be main eventing WrestleMania. Oh my god, we got stereo elims here. Thank God Christ has been averted. Kozlov is eliminating the Menace. Well, yeah. It's because he loves WWE, dude. He just fucking loves WWE, and he doesn't want to see it, you know, go down the tubes with another 2 months of Jack Swagger on top. Don't we all love WWE? No. But I'm glad in this case Kozlov does.
Elbow drop. Oh, look out. He's about to be eliminated.
All right, and here comes Matt Sydal here.
One less superstar to deal with.
I love this rendition of WWE, what the one we've made together.
King, what's the strategy for a Royal Rumble?
I'd say stay out of the way.
Summer boys come. Yes, this one. No, Druid. What? Justin Gabriel, the man who has beaten Triple H multiple times in the past month, I think. Dude, the real WWE was the friends we made along the way. Now that right there is spitting facts, brother.
Here comes another one. How's this gonna affect the match?
What? Okay. Well, now we have goddamn William Regal in here. Drew's been eliminated. He has unfortunately been eliminated. And it looks like Justin Gabriel's about to be eliminated too.
Lucky number 13.
Wait, we're already at number 13? Wow. USA chant? What? Well, awesome. Big Show. Dude, all of our faves are just getting eliminated. This shit is like worse than the 2015 Rumble. But also, to that end, the worst of the crop is also being eliminated, i.e. Jack Swagger. Kozlov is eliminating everyone we love and hate. Oh no. Finley!
Force, my God. Oh! Halfway done.
Alright, cool.
On the ropes, fighting for survival.
I'm sorry, that was... Dude, wow. This I forget how fast these like old Royal Rumble matches can go by. They go by even faster in the SmackDown games, but still. I forget how fast they can. And there goes Kozlov. Whoa! Okay, wait, never mind. It's Matt Hardy. It's Matt freaking Hardy right here, dude. He's not in TNA just yet.
Ooh, going for the elimination.
Well, Shad was dominating until you said that idea, Baker.
Who's gonna enter next?
Yeah, Shad had a finish, but will he be able to stay in the match? You know? Okay, hold on. Never mind. Primo! Okay, never mind. I know who I want to win now. And okay, and Finley just fused into Primo. He gave him his power. Whoa, hello!
Boy, he was lucky to hook his leg.
But will he be lucky enough to hang on?
Finley gave Primo his power. So that must mean that he'll win this, right? Oh, Stone Cold. Oh, hell. Yeah.
He's coming back through the ropes. Ooh, brutal impact.
I'm morally conflicted. What? Between the Steamboat. What? The Yeti. What? But the only thing I'm not conflicted with is stomping a mud hole in Primo's ass. And that's all I gotta say about that. Dude, the rivalry is renewed here at the Royal Rumble. Wow, you're right.
And there goes a superstar.
Dude, you're right. Stone Cold and Primo. Just one.
He almost took his head off with that lariat. And there's another nasty kick to the gut. And you got to figure it becomes extremely difficult to breathe after a few of those.
All right, well, who is coming out in this match then?
And there's an elimination.
Talk about making a statement.
Wow. Wow, Shad eliminated Big Show. I know.
That'll do some damage.
Oh, right to the gut.
Shout out here with the cable. Holy man, what? That was an insane plex there from Shad.
This match is to determine the #1 contender for the championship.
All right, who's coming out next?
WrestleMania. He's nearly out of this one.
Oh my God!
No way! MVP!
And that one hurt his hand.
Oh my God!
This is probably the last time.
There he goes. This one's over for him.
More like bum VP. Yes, exactly. But listen, I want him to try and do something, okay? If he can do something in this matchup, bum VP even. He is pretty much a bum at this point, but I would like for him to not be a bum. Ah, brother.
Look at this.
Dude, it's the Director of Chaos
Right on the chin. On the
coming out here.
This could be trouble.
Oh my God. Samoa drop to the outside. Holy fuck!
He just didn't have enough left to hang on.
Ow, dude. That's insane. Oh my God.
In a shot to the solar plexus. Looking to get
No. MVP. Ooh, Chavo.
Get ready. Another superstar.
There he is. The fan favorite to win this whole thing. Chavo Guerrero and Bret Hart. No, I don't want stinking Bret Hart to win this. That filthy stinking hyena, Bret Hart. Dude, and they're just ganging up on MVP now.
Oh, what a painful kick.
Dude, Shad is just hanging in there for this one. What? Shad is just hanging in there for this. Ah, fuck. Dolph Ziggler. He gained the powers of the Druid. I guess fucking so, dude. I mean, like, listen. If Druid can't win, why not Shad? You know?
That did it. He's putting those educated feet to good use.
If not the Druid, why not? Shad Gaspard.
Oh, mama. Oh, no. He's got him. Oh, my God.
All right.
What a slam.
Pulling for Shad, Chavo, or MVP right now. I'm in the same boat, dude. I'm in the exact same boat.
That'll leave a mark. What an impact from that kick. The winner of this.
Come on, Chavo.
Of their choosing at WrestleMania.
Chavo, go all the way. He's going all the way.
There's one less superstar in this match now. Do you remember when I won the Royal Rumble?
You did? I mean, I know you've come close to setting records for least amount of time in the ring.
Hey, come on now. Wait a minute.
Okay, well, MVP is gone. He's a bum. Big old bum from Nowheresville. MVP is now gone.
On the verge of an elimination.
One of the things you have to come to terms with in the Royal Rumble is you can work with a partner.
He just eliminated him with authority.
Dude,
I love the Royal
I'm now. I'm pulling for Chavo in this now, chat. I'm pulling for him hard in this. Oh my god. A meeting of the minds here between Brett and Chavo. Mike Knox! It's Mike Knox, dude. No! No! Please! Not Chavo! Not my sweet baby boy, Chavo! No! 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 No!
Superstar. Here comes 24, and entering the match at this stage is such a huge advantage. He might be going.
I'm sad now, chat. Mike Knox is it.
Is it time already?
Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Hold on though. Or HBK. Or HBK. I'm kind of pulling for Mike Knox, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Next entrance, getting ready to come out. Oh!
Either HBK or fucking Mike Knox. One of the two. Okay? One of the two.
Here comes another one. How's this gonna affect the match?
No, boo! Boo!
Just raw, unmitigated power.
Like he did to Stan? Who is Stan? No, Shad also had a good run in this, yeah.
It's almost time for the next competitor.
Hey, it's this, dude, he's never looked more like the Scorpion King than he does in this game right here.
Oh, it doesn't get more punishing than that. Man, that was a...
The Rock has never... Vance Archer!
He's in a precarious...
It's dude, can someone get Whoops to lock in on this because this fucking guy is in this match now. It is Vance Archer. We haven't seen him in like ever. If Vance wins, I'll come.
Another one? Is it time already?
Oh, he's coming back in.
How many more entrants do we have in this? We gotta be getting like the last 5, right?
He's
Oh my, the big cold one. Chris Masters! Is this our number 30?
Remember, it's over the top rope. Both feet touching the floor.
Julius Cruz, thank you for following, man. You're now a member of the Loveboy Club for life. How are you doing, my friend? Welcome on in. The Murder Hawk Masters are in the ring for the first time! Genuinely, I didn't think this would ever happen in this playthrough, dude.
Hello, Mario.
I never thought this would happen in this playthrough. Not once. Big Time Rush star Chris Masters. Was he in Big Time Rush? Oh my god. Could Ron Killings go to the main event?
Royal Rumble rules. The only way to be eliminated is to go over the top rope and have both feet hit the floor. The last
Wow, this is honestly an incredible Final Four here.
Oh, look at this.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. If this is the Final Four, this is an incredible Final Four.
And there's another nasty kick to the
Wait, no. We have another? Hold on.
Difficult to breathe after a few of those. In a boot to the gut. What a shot. Oh, there it is.
Sean Benjamin!
Is it time already? He might be done here. Uh-oh. I think that really hurt his arm. Oh, wow.
Wait, what is Shelton doing? Is Shelton picking his spot here? No. Ah, I'm sad for Woobs, dude.
An aggressive shot to the midsection.
Man, look at all these mid-carders in the ring right now.
And the boot connects with the abdomen. Going for the elimination. Trying to get one step closer to his dreams.
I'm fine with any of these guys winning TVH. I am too, but I would have liked for like one of our guys to win. You know? Like we've been building up so much, like we've been building up so many of these guys, and none of them are in the Final Four. You know? Oh, they're doing the thing! They're doing the thing! They're doing the stare down, dude.
The big boot connects.
The thing! It is the final two in the Royal Rumble. Who will go to WrestleMania?
This event is being broadcast worldwide to the United Kingdom.
Dude, imagine if Truth wins. Dude, I'll come.
To our fighting servicemen and women on the Armed Forces Network.
Come on. Come on. R-Truth. Rod Killings. Oh, no. Nope. Nah, this right here is going to be a struggle, chat. I feel like. This final two is going to be a struggle. Either that or Sean will just keep chopping Ron Killings. So.
On the road to WrestleMania. And I'm sure we'll be able to see the handprint.
Oh my god, dude. Sean's chest is beat red. Sean's chest is absolute hamburger meat right here. Yeah, Sean's pecs are so red. Oh my god! Gallows pole onto Shawn Michaels.
It's almost time for a 3-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Chat, I just got word from the sponsors. We need to jump to commercial. We'll be right back.
It's break time. Where are the Cheetos, my dudes?
It's modern TKO.
You do in 10 seconds? You can start chopping onions for an omelet. Or you can chop onions, whip eggs, chop ham and peppers, even grate cheese, all at the same time for the fastest, easiest omelet ever. In 10 seconds, you can open a can of
Shawn Michaels' retirement tour if this was modern day.
Ready to heat and serve. In 10 seconds, you can begin
for absolute sure, dude. It would literally be like this.
Chicken, chop onions and peppers to make a zesty filling that you can heat and serve for hot, delicious quesadillas the whole family will love. All three ready to heat and serve, all in 10 seconds or less with the original Magic Bullet. The personal, versatile countertop magician that does any job in 10 seconds or less. Now you can do small everyday jobs like chopping garlic or onions without the sticky, smelly mess in just 3 seconds. Or grind whole coffee beans, coarse or fine, in just 4 seconds for fresh ground coffee every morning. Or even take that fresh brewed coffee, add ice, milk, and chocolate syrup, and blend up a fancy frozen coffee drink in just 7 seconds. The Magic Bullet does any job in 10 seconds or less, yet it takes up no more space on your counter than a coffee mug. And nothing could be easier. Just watch. Simply load your ingredients like tomatoes, onions, garlic, and hot peppers into the bullet cup. Twist on one of the specially designed bullet blades. Pop it onto the ingenious high-torque power base. Then simply press. And in less than 5 seconds, you've got just the right amount of zesty salsa. Garden fresh and ready to eat. Large bullet cup is even more versatile. Just toss in fresh fruit, ice, a splash of juice, and the Magic Bullet becomes a personal smoothie machine, pulverizing the ice and giving you a delicious, nutritious smoothie in just 8 seconds. Or add a scoop of protein powder for the most delicious meal replacement fat loss drink you've ever tasted. And because all the blades, bullet cups, and lids are dishwasher safe, the Magic Bullet cleans up in less than 10 seconds too. You could spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a counter full of kitchen appliances that still won't do everything the Magic Bullet can.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Welcome back to Raw, everybody. Let's finish this shit up. Who is going to WrestleMania, y'all? It looks like it's going to be Raw Killings. I'm not going to lie to you. Hold on just a second.
Remember, no pinfalls, no submissions.
There we go.
You must throw your opponent over the top rope with both feet touching the
No way. Raw Killings, R-Truth is going to Mania. Wow.
Here is your winner, R-Truth.
Oh, he wins the Royal Rumble. He's going to WrestleMania. It doesn't get any bigger than this.
The truth has set him free. And will set WrestleMania free when he challenges whoever wins the Elimination Chamber next month. Because we still have that to get through, honestly. Wow. You know what, chat? Honestly, I'm fine with that result, even if it's not any of our guys. Maybe, just maybe, they'll be involved in something at Mania. And if not, well, then that's what match creators for. You know? Because I want to get them involved in something, you know? I want to get them all involved in something. Hold on just a second. R-Truth has won the Royal Rumble, winning his chance to appear in the WrestleMania 26 main event. R-Truth's push finally getting somewhere. I didn't even intend for it to get anywhere, dude. But that's just what's happening now. You know? And the best part, Jack Swagger's nowhere to be seen now, chat. I think we might have ridden ourselves of him. He may have gotten a job, but he's not gotten the main event. But that means that if no one takes the belt, if no one takes the tag belts off of him, and John Morrison, by the time Mania comes around, he could be winning, he could be leaving WrestleMania with 3 belts. Batista and another world champion is watching Truth as we speak. Where will he go, chat? Personally, I'm thinking that he should go to SmackDown. I'm thinking he should go to SmackDown. and wrestle for the World Heavyweight Championship against The Undertaker. I just think that would be fun. I think that would be more fun than seeing him wrestle Batista. Or, God help us, Jack Swagger. We'll figure it out when we get there, though. We'll figure it out. For now, I'm feeling a little tired, chat. And this show has come to its end. This was very, very fun, as always. Batista versus Triple H in an Iron Man. I want our main event to go, 30 minutes. Undertaker is the champ, running back road to WrestleMania. I mean, like, no, the Undertaker was the champ in our road to WrestleMania playthrough. Not with the created wrestler, anyways. So, but no, I am very tired at this point, chat. So I'm gonna go ahead and send y'all over to, to a friend here. I don't know who, but I'll figure it out. True, R-Truth was just one of the other options to pick. I didn't pick anything, brother. I didn't pick anything. That was the game. Just doing it, you know? That right there was all authentic. I didn't fucking influence really anything besides some of the entrants. But besides that, nothing. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna send y'all over to my friend Ironside, who's playing backyard baseball. Looks like 2001. Yeah, that's 2001. I recognize those models anywhere. Yeah, y'all have a good night, okay? Here's the raid message. We got a couple of more weeks of this to play, chat, because next week we're going to do Elimination Chamber, and then the following week will, of course, be WrestleMania week. Or at least it will be WrestleMania. All right. But yeah, I'm gonna send y'all over to Mr. Ironside, who is playing Backyard Baseball 2001. It looks like he's playing. Oh, he's facing the Astros, but he's like the Bombers right now. So yeah, go on over there, show him some love. Come and join the Discord server. We have a lot of fun over there. I host semi-regular watch-alongs of wrestling shows over there. We're gearing up to watch the TV debut of Maple Leaf Pro. So yeah, that'll be fun. And join me starting next week for Vtuber SummerSlam 2026. I will have a promo video going up here within the next couple of days, kind of explaining what that's all about and some of the incentives that go along with that. So be on the lookout for that on my socials and in the Discord server. There's my socials right there. I am on YouTube 2 times over. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on all of that shit. Come on by. I would love to see you there. For now, I've been GirafaStev, president of the Long Boy Club, and we'll see you all next week. Bye.